Good evening, everybody. I will be sorted properly in a minute, but for now we've got this camera. Just having a little bit of an issue with the other camera. Good evening. Say hi if you're there. I'm just trying to sort out the main camera. I'm having a little bit of an issue of it. Hey, Dave, how are you, buddy? I am having just a little bit of an issue with my camera. It's not turning on. So I'm working on that at the minute. Every time, I swear to God. We'll get there. Good evening, Jazz. Thanks for turning up. I will be turning on the main camera very soon. It's all been fine up until now. I don't know what's going on with the camera, to be honest. It's not registering it's alive, even though it's plugged in and it should be alive. So that's just great. Um, that is not good. Evening, Dino. Can you just keep everyone informed as they arrive that I'm trying to get my main camera working, but for some reason it's not at the moment, which is rather irritating. More than irritating, I'm really quite annoyed. Yeah, hopefully it'll be fixed within the time that we need it. I am working my butt off, put it that way. I will not stop until I have either no time or it's fixed. Welcome to the picnic table. Hey there guys and girls, only 15 minutes left of this feeding before the interview starts. See you there. Good evening all. Just to let you know, I'm struggling to get my main camera working, but I'm doing what I can. I'll be with you at 9 o'clock regardless of if we have to watch this. But we'll be there. See you soon. That better. Got it sorted now. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know why it did that. So good evening, everyone. Sorry I haven't been here. I'm just going to say hello to everyone. Dino, Jura's Ants, Ants Life UK. We got Jazz, Dave, and I think that's just about everyone I can see at the moment. Anyone that isn't, anyone I haven't said, I'm going to say hello anyway. So hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll be with you very shortly. Just 2 seconds whilst the camera goes offline again. He'll be back in a second. I'm very sorry again. Good evening, Phil. Good evening, everybody. I will be back online with the camera in a few seconds. I've pretty much got it back working at its full capacity. Well, it sounded bad when you say, but it didn't work. I do apologise for that, everyone. We'll be with you in just a few minutes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Picnic Table live stream. The episode 2 of season 2, and tonight I have with me Phil from Incredible Inverts and Other Animals. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Phil.
Hello, everyone. I'm Phil. My YouTube channel is Incredible Inverts and Other Animals. I keep a whole manner of invertebrates privately, and then I am a zookeeper at a UK zoo.
Yeah, which is absolutely amazing. And to be honest, I can't be
I don't know the words for how excited I am. My heart's actually pumping and whatnot because you're actually a zookeeper. That's like so cool to have you on the stream and chatting to us. So as always, we've got loads of questions for you, and I'm sure we'll probably get a few more in the chat. So we'll answer them at the end. So we'll just jump straight in. When did you start keeping inverts and why?
Oh, the first inverts would have been probably at least 20 years ago. I've been keeping exotic animals for around 25 years.
Wow.
Started off with reptiles. And then, as a kid, got into stick insects, as a lot of kids do and stuff. And it kind of went from there, really, with everything. And nowadays, it's predominantly invertebrates. I still love reptiles, but just where I live at the moment, it doesn't really allow for reptiles, so inverts are the thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So what do you keep currently?
A whole manner of things. So privately, in my flat, I've got tarantulas, I've got a fishing spider, I've got scorpions, millipedes, isopods, scolopendras, snails, a whole manner of things, and moths.
Moths. Yeah, moths. I've tried with moths, but they're really difficult.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Atlas moth chrysalis I picked up at the Southeast Arachnid show. So I've got them pinned up, hoping to emerge at some point to have a couple of Atlas moths just free flying around my flat.
That would be awesome. So what do you do when you're at work as a zookeeper? What do you look after there?
So I'm the head of reptiles and inverts. Predominantly. So yeah, I look after all the reptiles, all the invertebrates there. And then I also look after a couple of bird species and a couple of mammal species as well.
That's pretty cool. So it's a full-time job for you, like all day you're doing your stuff while you're doing at work. That's pretty awesome. So like you say, you've turned that passion into a job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. My hobby is my job. So well, sort of literally as a hobby for me as a kid. So I've continued on throughout my life, and I was like, well, I want to work with animals. So from a very young age, knew I wanted to be a zookeeper, and that's what I wanted to do. So pursued that. So made it my job. And so I've essentially made my own section at the zoo. And so I went, right, you now need to have me full time, don't you, to look after all these. So now I'm kind of in charge of around sort of 100 or so species every day at the zoo. And then I've got probably nearly that in my flat as well. So finish work and then start all over again.
To be honest, that's pretty much the dream for everyone, I think. Like watching this, like that's just our dream job.
It is for a lot of people. It's hard work. So, I'm quite lucky being reptiles and inverts. I'm actually indoors a lot of times. So like today when it's rainy and windy and stuff, I can laugh at all the other keepers and go, I'm nice and toasty in my 30-degree buildings, sort of thing. Whereas they're all getting soaking wet, sort of thing. Yeah. But generally, when we say zookeeping, it's normally it's working all weathers. It could be any day of the week and stuff. It's not a 9 to 5 sort of thing. It's you start when you finish when you finish. Yeah. If you haven't got all the jobs done within your time limit, you carry on. There's no real such thing as overtime, sort of thing. So you gotta get all the stuff done, to standard, and in trying to push standards as well at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So have you got a favorite animal, a favorite invert?
That's always a difficult one. And it can change on a weekly basis in terms of my private collection and stuff. To narrow it down to a few. Well, I haven't announced it yet. It's been announced on Wednesday on a premiere video. I recently got a brand new species, which has been a bit of a dream species of mine, and didn't really think I'd ever keep it, but I've now got the species. So that's really exciting for me. So at the moment, they're kind of my favourite.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll have to watch on Wednesday to see what that is.
Wednesday, 6:00, it premieres that brand new species. So some people, are guessing. Some people have got it right. The guesses and stuff of what I've got. Some people knew that I was kind of toying with the idea of getting the species. So, but otherwise, I mean, one of my favourites probably my metallic emerald cockroaches. So they're amazing cockroaches that I breed, and so they're just absolutely stunning. My Panda King isopods, again, they're probably up there as one of my favourites as well. And so just because they're exploding in number for me, I'm breeding them like nobody's business, so that's always really nice when something is going well. And so, well, I mean, yeah, it's difficult to narrow it down because it changes depending on sometimes what they're doing. I've got the armored crickets and stuff. They're up there, which I'm trying to breed at the moment. And so they're paired up at the moment. The female, her abdomen is looking huge at the moment. So hopefully, I can get those breeding.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So, but yeah, it's difficult to pinpoint to one specific species.
Yeah, I generally say it's the ones that I'm dealing with at the time, because they're that's what's in front of me. That's what's interesting me at the time.
That's it. It all depends on what they're doing, what behaviour they're doing. If it's something if it's a new species they just got in, that's going to take over straight away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you'll go back to something they've had for ages, like, oh yeah, you're doing this now, and sort of thing. So yeah, it does change sometimes. When you update an enclosure, suddenly that's in your favourite. Sort of thing, or just do a bit of refreshment in the enclosure, whether it's refreshing the substrate or adding in some new plants or whatever. That then becomes your favourite for that bit.
Yeah, no, you're right with that. I'm always doing something, and that, like you say, that becomes your focus for that week or two until you do the next thing. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, in terms of work, I can narrow it down to two individual animals of my favourites, being the rhino iguana Carmen, because she's lovely, and someone comes up for a scratch. So, and then Rosie, who is a red-crested turco, which is a very exotic-looking species of bird.
Okay, cool.
One of the most beautiful birds in the world and stuff. And Rosie, she was hand-reared at another zoo. As soon as she sees you, she flies towards you and just to, even sometimes just to sit with you. She just wants to sit there next to you, sort of thing. And she gets a lot of sort of enrichment just from that and stuff. And she'll sometimes just sit on your shoulder as you're walking around mucking out the tortoises.
That's pretty cool, actually. So how many species of isopods do you currently own? Because I know you have quite a few, don't you?
A few. I've got, I would count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think around about 10 species of isopod.
Okay. So which one is your favourite isopod?
At the moment, I'm keeping Panda Kings at the moment. They're my favourite Panda Kings. They're incredible. And so Cabarrus was sort of a genus that I never kind of thought. I'd always liked the look of Cabarrus, but you always hear these horror stories of Cabarrus of being very delicate. They're expensive. They're not a cheap isopod, sort of thing. And there's that kind of fear of what if I don't keep them right, kind of thing. And then I first got them. Well, my mum actually bought me my first 5 Panda Kings. She's kind of surprised. I was having a look at them at a shop, along with some rubber duckies as well. Actually, I was looking at both those species, just have a look at them and stuff. And I saw the rubber duckies were out of my price range, and they're far more delicate. So compared to Panda Kings, and then mum was like, "Do you want some Panda Kings?" I was like, "Well, I do, but they're still expensive." And then she was like, "Oh, I'll buy them for you," and stuff. So and I was like, "Right, I need to make sure I can keep these right then," sort of thing, and make sure I do all right. I then got some more from Micro Exotics because he was doing a sale, so I was like, "Well, I might as well get another 5." And so, but actually, the original one, the shop that I'm going from, he actually chucked in 2 free ones. Anyway, so I started off with 7 anyway, and stuff. And then got the other 5. And when they arrived, I found then baby Panda King straight away. So I was like, "Oh, great, I've bred them," sort of thing. Or at least they may have arrived. Females may have arrived gravid, but at least the move didn't stress them out too much.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. And since then, they've been bringing like nobody. I've started off with a small number, and I've got hundreds now of
Nice.
those. To the point that I was able to sell some, and I just noticed that Happy Ant bought he got some off me, which he did. He bought some off me at the Southeast Arachnid show, and also swapped some with Jeremy's Wild World as well, because he breeds Panda Kings as well. So as well, let's swap some genetics over and stuff before it gets
cool.
sort of too far gone and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great. So yeah, they're probably my favourite ice pod at the moment. But I've got those. I've got Maculatum's, got Klugai Montenegros, we've got Jestroy, which are breeding, Magic Potions, Pancreas, a mix Powder Blues, Dairy Cows. So I've always got Dairy Cows.
Yeah, everyone's got Dairy Cows. Apart from me, I haven't actually.
Yeah. And so Dairy Cows are really, really cool, but they just get everywhere. I've got them in enclosures that I'd never put them in. Sort of thing. And then the problem there is because they're so protein hungry, I normally have to remove them just in case I overtake. Because I had once actually Dairy Cows get into my Klugai enclosure and kill off my Klugais. They just wiped them out and stuff. So.
Yeah, I have heard of that. Would you say most isopods are easy to care for, or like you say, some are difficult? What ones would you recommend for like a beginner?
I mean, for a beginner, if you're looking to buy isopods, look at the prices. If they're cheap, they're easy. It's quite simple. Like if they're really cheap, they're really, really easy. And so, if you're doing it for bioactive, then I would avoid Porcellio species just because of they can be protein hungry.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep on top of that and on top of numbers, I have seen photos of where things like dairy cows have eaten frogs, people's tree frogs in their enclosures, eaten lizards, taking chunks out of snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
So there is that risk with some species, not all. Armadillidium aren't, they don't tend to be protein hungry. And stuff. So for bioactives, I use armadillidiums mainly.
Yeah.
So I think most of my isopods I do just keep separately, just as them. I don't think I've got a few as cleanup crew, things like Powder Blues. They're fairly okay, and they breed like nobody's business.
I know.
You can do everything. You can do everything wrong with Powder Blues, and they'll still breed, and you'll still be overrun with them and stuff. But things like Armadillium Vulgare, they're really good for bioactive, and they're a fairly cheap one. You can't, if you know what you're looking for and know how to ID and stuff, you can find them just outside.
Yeah.
So, but you do have to be careful they don't get the wrong sort of species.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything that is like a massive do not in the hobby of keeping isopods? Like something that people constantly make this mistake, and it's just one of those things,
I think a mistake sometimes is perhaps not knowing whether ones are more humid or more of a drier species. Sometimes,
yeah.
With some of them, we sometimes don't necessarily know exactly what they need. Is needed. I was speaking to someone a while ago actually about Porcellio expansus. I don't keep expansus at the moment, but like to. And I was talking to a friend of mine who had been sent, been given a whole load of them by a mutual friend of ours, and he was all like, "Did you send me all these?" And so these are worth a lot of money. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I breed them like nobody's business." And he was like, "But everyone struggles with the species." Like, "Oh yeah, but I went to Spain and actually had a look at them in the wild, and they eat algae and moss and stuff, and they need it pretty much bone dry."
Okay.
And I think sometimes ventilation is normally quite a thing. You need a lot of ventilation. I was only watching things like Aquarimax Pets. Rusty's really good with iSpot stuff. I get a lot of information from Aquarimax Pets quite a lot. And he often says, so if something's going wrong, add more ventilation. and chances are it'll actually sort itself out.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
So, but it's just knowing the individual species, knowing if they need it humid, like Kibaris do need it that bit more humid.
Yeah.
So the way I've got my Kibaris, my dairy cows, they would just keel over. I don't think they like it at all. So it's just researching the species, and doing, as with any animal, research or watch as many videos as there is. Look on, read what you can online about things. I'm quite lucky that I do get access to some scientific papers. So when I can, I'll read a scientific paper about stuff as well and see what's going on there.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk a little bit about your spiders and tarantulas next. What's the care like for them? Because I've never kept a spider or a tarantula of any kind. So what's it like keeping them?
It's not too taxing, and there's a lot of things that you can get wrong. There's a lot of misinformation out there, as there is with anything, and it's one of those things. You ask 10 keepers, and you might get 10 different answers. Kind of thing. And stuff. So a lot of the time, a lot of tarantula keepers, we tend to say don't go by a lot of care sheets. Sometimes they're just kind of recycled information that isn't necessarily always all that good. And so, and there's a lot of things that sometimes can confuse people. And so, often one thing that even to this day is sometimes still said, like, "Oh, you need to put a sponge into your water bowl," and it's like, well, that's just breeding ground for bacteria. So, you still see to this day. I'll go into the pet shops, and there's little sets of hide and a water bowl with a sponge to be sold as for spider. So like that's we knew 20 years ago we shouldn't be putting in a sponge and stuff. But a lot of us we did do it back then when we first kept because that's what we were told to. And then you soon realise, what? After a few days, this thing really stinks. And surely that's bad. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sort of thing. But it varies on a tarantula because you got your New World, so your American tarantulas, your Old World, so the rest of the world, and so some like it more moist, and so need a lot. They might be more moisture dependent. So some like it drier. So it really depends on your species.
Yeah, of course.
So it's again researching the species that you want to keep. Some are perhaps more defensive than others.
Yes.
And so some come with bad reputations that they don't necessarily deserve. So the OBT is a classic one, I think. It's sometimes referred to as the orange bitey thing. Yes, they can be defensive. Yes, you type that into YouTube and this, that, the other, you're going to see all these videos of them rearing, slapping the ground, attacking stuff. But I mean, I'm sure the likes of Faceless he's got OBTs as well. Will say you give them the space, and they're calm. Sort of thing. You don't go in there poking them all the time; they're calm.
Yeah.
And so I've got a couple of OBTs, and they never give me a threat posture. Sort of thing. So when I do any service in the tank, they just go down into their burrow and stuff, and then they'll come out when they feel safe again and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's having that healthy respect for them. And stuff. They're beautiful, beautiful spiders, but you do sometimes see in the hobby pet trade of like, don't get an OBT. They're this, that, the other, and stuff. And it's all like, oh, they're not as bad as what we make out. And so, they're not a Gramstola pulchra that sits there and is like a puppy sometimes. Although there's always exceptions, sort of thing. They're not all like that. So, like, don't go poking it, sort of thing. But give space, and they're fine. But I think with tarantulas, some of the big nose sometimes is one, people keep them in too smaller enclosures often, which then get that defensive behaviour.
Yeah.
And I like it. I picked up from Tom Moran actually of some big spiders. He often says like, think about if you're in your bedroom and someone suddenly lifts the roof off and puts a hand in there, you're going to be angry.
Yeah,
you're going to be
definitely.
too if they're in a small space and suddenly you're lifting that lid off, well, of course they're going to rear up and they're going to be defensive if you haven't given them enough space. But also just the airflow. You lift the lid off, suddenly the air pressure changes in that enclosure. Whereas if you've got more space and stuff, there's less chance of that being too dramatic. Sort of for them. Sometimes people don't keep them on deep enough substrate. If only give them a couple of centimeters of substrate or whatever, and when a lot of them burrow, or you want to give them that opportunity to burrow, especially if they're terrestrial and especially if they're fossorial. So, but we'll get people a bit like, I want to see my tarantula. It's like, well, look at species then that are going to be out more, sort of thing. You know, ask people that have been in the hobby, like, which ones of your spiders do you see most of the time? And Fraser's put classic saying that we have in the tarantula game is needs more substrate. So if you put up a picture of your tarantula closure online, you normally get that at some point. Someone will say needs more substrate.
Okay.
So, but some of them, like, I don't keep many fossorials purely for that reason of, well, I'd like to see my tarantulas. Fossorials, you're less likely to. I've got a couple, you can see them every now and then. But some of them might be having like 10, 15 inches depth of substrate. Because some of them, will burrow down quite deep. So, then you got your arboreals as well. So then, you're going tall and you want, again, still good depth of substrate, but then also that height for them to climb. And some in the high behind. So there's a lot involved. But once you got the basics down, it's not difficult.
Okay. Do you ever handle your spiders? I
don't. I used to. A lot of tarantula keepers go through that stage of handling, some every now and then, some never do. So I have done in the past. I don't at all anymore. Although that was just a natural progression of mine as I got more and more into it, and kind of, the tarantula gets nothing from it. And it's not like a dog. A dog comes to you and wants a fuss. A tarantula doesn't come. They for me, I don't think they really get anything out of being handled apart from potentially getting stressed. So if they're a terrestrial or fossorial, they used to be on the ground. Suddenly they're being lifted up into the air. What the hell's going on here? So you've also got risks involved if they're New World. A lot of them have agitating hairs, so hairs that irritate. A lot of them will flick those off, so they're on the epiphyseoma. A lot of them will flick those. There's some that can't flick, but they'll then kind of rub their epiphyseoma onto you. And then there is some New Worlds like the Samapeus that don't have agitating hairs, so they are a bit more defensive. They act a bit more like what we call the old worlds. So, and the old worlds, because they don't have agitating hairs, they tend to be that bit more defensive. So sometimes a bit quicker. So also higher venom potency as well. A lot of the time. So it's all like, there is risk in you holding. So there's risk in you touching any animal. So, but I'm saying that risk. But there's also risk to the spider as well. A lot of them, if they fall, it doesn't actually have to fall that far, and that can cause catastrophic damage, even kill the spider. So they're not really tough, especially the epiphyseoma, is really delicate. So, by and large, they're like, again, something a bit from Times spiders, of dreamlike tropical fish, dreamlike fish keeping. They're there to be enjoyed and looked at. But you don't go in and pick up your fish. Sort of thing.
It's exactly the same in the ant keeping hobby. We don't. Well, some people do, but generally we don't pick up the ants. There's no need.
That's it. As the thing, they get no enjoyment out of it. So you're only doing it for yourself, and then when you start feeling more of like actually the risk involved, especially to the animal, it's all like, well, actually, should I be doing that? Sort of thing. So the only inverts, I don't really hold many of them because I've got so many. But the ones I do sometimes hold are things like the stick insects, leaf insects.
Of course.
Because, they can't cause any damage and stuff. sometimes have to pick them up to get them off the old bramble and stuff to change that out. And then I'll hold, occasionally things like snails and stuff, and the cockroaches. But otherwise, most stuff I don't really touch it.
Okay, that's fair. So you keep many scorpions. Do you use the UV lights? Because I've got one, and it makes it shine up like bright green, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So currently, none of my scorpions are under any lighting at the moment.
Right.
So I did have, ran out of batteries, a black light flashlight type thing, or LED torch.
Yeah.
Which in that they fluoresce, they reflect the light essentially.
Yeah.
So there's been a small amount of research. A paper was published sort of late last year into UV lighting and arachnids.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a small study, and more needs to be done. But it did show that potentially it could be stressful for them.
Oh, really? Okay.
To be under UV light. They tested cortisol levels, and cortisol levels were raised, but there was a small. It was a very, very small study. So, so it's a different one because in terms of the reptile world and our female world, so I'm a very big proponent of everything needs UV.
Yeah.
But in the invert world, a lot of it's still kind of unknown.
Yes, it is. Yes, very unknown.
And so try and look at more. Well, are they exposed to it in the wild? If they are exposed into the wild, then perhaps they should have a bit for some. Not necessarily all day long. Maybe only a small amount. Depends on the invertebrate as well. At zoos, we tend to use like old UV tubes that are no good for reptiles anymore, but still produce some light. Go over, but some of us are going and putting in big UV units over invertebrates. Even looking at UV for our live feeds and stuff, and giving them some exposure. So there's stuff happening, but it takes a long time for the research to be done, and it's often stuff that is difficult to get funded.
Yeah, of course.
And when it's quite a lot of work, what I'm saying, people don't really want to do it for free.
Yeah. That's the main issue. Money always.
Yeah. A lot of time people go, "What's the point in looking at this?" That especially with a lot of invertebrates, we've been keeping and breeding these for many, many years without lighting.
Yeah.
So, but the same can be said in the reptile world. A lot of people still breed things like raw pie, a lot of snakes and leopard geckos and stuff without any lighting. But then I completely disagree with that. I think they do need lighting, and it has been shown in science that it's beneficial for them.
Yes.
So in terms of snakes, can produce healthier clutches of eggs. Might be smaller clutches, but healthier clutches and healthier babies. And they will actively bask under the lights. Or they'll quickly bask, so you only put like a small bit of the body out. So, and again, UV light doesn't necessarily have to be like for 8 hours. It can be 2 hours, 4 hours. Things like that. And even going into like the more advanced side of things, that's something that some people are starting to look into even more with lighting, is trying to basically replicate sunlight completely inside a viv with infrared lights, UV lights, LED lights, and trying to have them all come on at different times, and to try and almost, I know people are trying to create almost like sunrise and sunset effect in their vivs, which is absolutely insane. But if they can get that down, I mean, it's going to cost them a fortune. It'd be amazing. And see what effect that has on their animals.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. See, I have my UV on, it's on like one half of the tank and only on during night times when I can be asked to put it on, sort of thing. But I don't know. I haven't noticed it overly stressing him out or changing his behavior. But then it's really hard to see him if he's not under it, if you know what I mean. I don't know what he acts like when he's not under it because he's always about in the dark.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're nocturnal by nature.
Yeah.
So, well, most scorpions are nocturnal. But what they may do is, especially so things like Asian forest scorpions, Heterometris, tend to burrow. Is they may actually potentially have just their pincer, their pedipalp, maybe the tip of that poking out the burrow. That could be enough to actually soak up UV rays. So sort of thing. So if it is beneficial to them, they probably would need strong UV. Something like the Arcadia shade dwellers is probably more than enough.
Yeah.
So. Especially being things like forest scorpions being, in the rainforest in Southeast Asia, it can get quite dark in there, down there at the bottom.
Yes.
So there's only going to be patches of light anyway. So sometimes looking at even that, creating, dappled UV lighting and stuff.
Yes, that's good.
Which can be done with, just a bit of camo netting or whatever, just over the top of the enclosure. And they'll create, those little patches of light and stuff. And that gets done with various geckos as well. And you'll then see geckos sometimes dart in between.
Yes.
The bits of light sometimes.
That's super cool, and I'm actually going to do that with my one. The UV light I got is one from like Swell Reptiles or somewhere, which was recommended for scorpions. So hopefully it is a good one. But I'm definitely going to get the camo on. That's a good idea. I like that a lot.
So, and it's just all different ideas of going. Sometimes you think about what the forest, deep in the rainforest, it's not bright light.
It's dark, really dark.
Really dark in some places.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to the rainforest. I've never been, but I know a few people that have, and some of the images they've shown me, and sometimes it's really, really dark.
Yeah.
So, and then there'll just be a patch of light.
Yeah. So have any of your pets ever escaped?
Stick insects.
Yeah.
Baby stick insects.
Okay, that's not an issue.
Sort of thing. When changing the food plant, so you go through it, and then you come back later and you find there's a stick insect over there that whatever. And then I've got a species that flies really well.
Oh wow, okay.
And I had one fly off the other day. I didn't find it until the next day. It turned up. I was like, there you are.
Ha! Oh dear.
So, I've never had a tarantula escape, never had a scorpion escape, never had a centipede escape, and stuff. And part of it again is making sure that your enclosure is suitable. Putting in, making sure if it's something that, is lidded, that the lid's either a tight lid or a heavy lid that they can't lift it, sort of thing. Making sure that's it's secure and one that's good for the animal. So because my flat it's fairly humid up here and it's warm. I just heat it all, and so that keeps them all fairly nice at nice temperature. But at the end of the day, it's a lot drier than it is in their enclosure. So again, if they're sort of moisture dependent species, they'll soon desiccate outside of the enclosure.
Yeah, that's fair. So you go to lots of invert shows, don't you? Have you been to any lately?
Only saw the other week the Southeast Arachnid show down in Kent.
Okay.
Or Seas as it's known. It's the first one of the year. It's a really, really good one. Happy Ant was there as well.
Nice.
And a whole bunch of us were there. I trade at a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
They're always good fun. Really good fun, the invert shows.
So do you actually have a shop or do you only trade at the invert shows?
Only at the invert shows. Mainly because the post out, I don't really have the time to go and posting. I'd also be really, really paranoid that I packed it wrong
Yeah.
or
That's
whatever.
fair.
Even though I've ordered stuff online for years, so I know how to do it and how to know
Yeah.
the best ways of packaging from all the online sellers I've ordered from over the years and stuff. I think I'd just be so paranoid. Look, so the post office nearest to me, I did ask them once, and they were just like, they just looked at me blankly, like, what? Sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
what? They clearly they'd never had anyone come in and be like, I want to ship this, it's live inverts, by the way, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
So,
My
in
postman,
terms
every
of my own
time he
stock,
pulls up, sorry,
yeah.
every time my postman pulls up with my post, he's like, it's moving. I can feel it moving. What have you got today? He's like, oh, that's just a box of roaches. Don't worry.
So, I mean, I was fairly used to, live things coming to me and stuff. And stuff, but yeah, the people inside the post office, well, because it's in another shop, so it's not actually post office staff running it either. They're just confused, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I only really, so it shows or pick up directly from me, sort of thing, and stuff. And it's always only ever my own homebred stock that I've got surplus. So,
Nice.
I do shows with my parents. Because they have a stand of toys and gifts for sale. They're all reptile, amphibian, invert sort of related. So
Cool.
like reptile, cuddly toys and stuff.
Yeah. That's very cool. So where is your next show? Where can we next find you if we want to buy something?
My next one that I'm hopefully definitely going to is the Barnsley show, I believe.
Okay.
Guys are trying to convince me to go to the Taunton show, which is at the end of this month, but that may be a bit too far for me. That's
Right,
a good
okay,
4-hour drive there.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I think Barnsley's the next one. I think that's March. I think. So,
Okay.
and then I'm normally at the Doncaster reptile shows. And so, Cam's just offered to drive me. So, so be careful. I might take you up on that.
No, that's
So,
brilliant.
which is April. So, but there's a whole host of shows that often do go to. The Bedford Invert Show, the Eastern Invert Show, that's my closest one. That's only an hour away. So I'm always sort of going to that one. The biggest one, which is the British Tarantula Society show, the BTS. That's the biggest one, which I believe is the day after your ant show, I believe. The ant
really?
The sun, literally the day after.
Well, that's a happy coincidence. Someone could drive from one to the other and try and get them both in.
I mean, it's in just outside Leamington Spa, so it's not. Yeah. So that's the big one. I mean, that's the largest invert show. I think it's definitely in the country, but I think even in the world. I think at one point it was. Anyway, like the largest invert show. And although it's called Tarantula Show, it's all inverts.
Everything.
Yeah, it's just run by the British Tarantula Society. But you get stick and sticks there. I think Ants HQ will probably be there. So possibly even Ant Kit. So I'm pretty sure they've been there before. And so you and the BTS is one of those that you name an invert, chances are it's there.
Cool. I like that.
And so it's huge. It's amazing. Well, at least it used to be. It might be different now with the whole Brexit and everything else and stuff. Can't have the European sellers come over because you used to have a lot of European sellers come over for it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and they'd bring stock that you perhaps couldn't get in the UK.
Cool.
So, but it'll still be a massive show, and lots and lots of various inverts there.
Okay. Well, at least we know where we can find you now. So what's the hardest thing you care for? Like, what's been the most difficult to get it successful?
The hardest bit, which I can't say I've succeeded completely yet because I need to get to pupate and then I've sort of had a partial success. Blue Deathane and beetles. So the beetles themselves, dead easy to keep. I've got larvae, and I can get larvae up to sort of Morio worm size. So, which some people struggle with. That's not actually all that is not that difficult. But the pupation of them, getting them to pupate, seems to be really difficult.
Yeah.
There's a few people. There's only a handful of people that have done it worldwide.
Right. Okay. Well.
And stuff. Originally, I think the first place was Cincinnati Zoo, one of the first ever doing. They emerged one. Sort of thing. Another zoo in America managed to do it. Russell for Chromax Pets, he's done a series on his YouTube channel of how he done it. Then recently, someone else in America managed to merge 10, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Which is that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was speaking to Guy Townsley at the Sea Show because he's a merged couple to see how he done it, and the way he said he done it was like, oh, I've been overthinking this. You've done it such a simple way, sort of thing. Maybe I'm actually overcomplicating things here.
Yeah.
As I was just like, oh, I just stuck them in an incubator at 33 degrees and they just got on with it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speak to some people like, yeah, make sure you got this bit of wood in there and you got this. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm trying to do this at the other. And he's like, oh, I just kept them on coir sand and stuck them in an incubator and they've done it. Sort of thing. But I need to give it a go. I've got, like I say, a couple of larvae that are getting up to Mori worm size. So I'm hoping that I can kick them into pupation and stuff. Because that'd be really cool. Because not many people have succeeded in doing that.
Yeah, that's fair. So do you breed your own feeder insects?
I don't.
No. Okay.
No. Mainly because where I live, I would lose my job probably if I had feeder insects get out.
Yeah.
So especially things like red runners and lobster roaches and anything like that. Sort of thing. Because I live at the zoo as well. We do have a bit of an issue with Australian roaches, which almost every zoo with a tropical house has either Australian roaches or American roaches. It comes with the territory, unfortunately, and stuff. And I don't think they'd be too happy if, and then when they ever move out of here or whatever, they go, hang on a minute, what's all this sort of thing. And stuff. Yeah. So I don't do that. I don't buy my food either. It all comes from a wholesaler through my parents, and they give it to me for helping them out with things.
Fair. See, that's a good way of doing it. I need that.
And so, I mean, occasionally I'll buy a bit here and there, just to have variety or whatever, or if they're a bit low one week and I need some desperately, then I'll buy some. But otherwise, just get it straight from the wholesaler.
Yep, that's fair enough. So what's the premises like? Because you work at a zoo. I don't think I've ever been there. Is it a big zoo? What's it like?
We're around 8 acres, so we're considered a small zoo.
Oh, really? That's small.
Yep. We're a small zoo as 8 acres. There's also goes by your visitor numbers as well of how they calculate whether you're small or medium or large and stuff. So we fall in the bracket of a small zoo. So we're kind of in between Cambridge and Royston, so just off the A10. It's a family-run park. Hey, Russell. So the owner, he lives on site. He's got a house on site, and essentially it's a back garden. Essentially,
right.
So he lives in the middle of it. And then there's a couple of off-staff flats as well, just because the area being sort of South Cambridgeshire, North Hertfordshire, damn expensive.
Yeah.
And so to rent anywhere, and zookeeper wages are really, really minimal. So it's not a rich job sort of at all. So and in some ways, sometimes some people argue about it and stuff because you need to be highly skilled. You often want. I don't have a degree, but a lot of places ask for degrees
Yes.
and stuff, this at the other, to then work living wage, or sometimes even minimum wage and stuff. But at the same time, it's sort of sometimes even us as keepers go like, well, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're not necessarily passionate about the job, sort of thing. And it's about that passion. And so where I am sitting now is basically slap bang in the middle of the park, pretty much.
Right, cool.
So I'm in the living room, got a window here, and then just outside there, there's a pathway just there, and then there's a lake, and then there's an island with ringtail lemurs on it.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So I sit here, have my breakfast, and someone just look out and watch the lemurs. Just literally across over there is the tiger enclosure.
Oh, wow. So, like, at night time, can you hear the tigers roaring and stuff?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's
sometimes
cool.
So, my sort of immediate neighbours, if you like, sort of just down there are the porcupines. So
I like that. I think we should all do that. Get rid of human society and just live amongst the animals. That's brilliant.
So, and yeah, we've got various animals. So our largest animals are the tigers. We've got a mother and daughter tiger, Ratna and Kelaboo. It's Sumatrans. So, and they're both sort of ex-breeding program. One's because of age and stuff. Ratna's around 20 years old now, maybe, or 19 to 20 years old. So she's getting on now, bless her.
Yeah.
Starting to get arthritis and stuff. She's blind in one eye.
Yeah.
So then her daughter, she's not young either. So we're sort of like, we're their home for their retirement sort of thing. And so then we have clouded leopards. We have maned wolves. So we've got a couple of species of lemur. We've got a colony of Egyptian fruit bats. So, various reptiles. We've got caimans. A whole invert house, which is something that not a lot of zoos necessarily have, is an actually sort of a dedicated invertebrate house. So there's only a handful of us that do, and we're probably one of the only small zoos that actually have kind of an invert house with an invert sort of focus in there. And so, obviously, there's a few species of tarantula, there's scorpions, there's cockroaches, there's beetles, there's leafcutter ants, which we recently got a new colony of because our atta, unfortunately, the queen passed away. She was at least 10 years old. But unfortunately, she passed away, so the colony, obviously just, they kind of forget what to do. Sort of thing. So they just
they're lost without it, aren't they?
Yeah. As soon as the queen's gone, that's it. They're just like, what do we do? And they just sit there doing nothing. Literally, just sit there, and you're like, damn. Literally recently, we got in Acromimex to replace those with.
Yes.
That was a genus that I wanted to get anyway, just because one, they don't create as big a colonies as Atta.
Yeah.
Like our enclosure's not the biggest of enclosures. And you try and say they need a big enclosure, but they're ants. And it's like, but if we've got millions of them, they need a big enclosure. Sort of thing. But some people don't always understand that. They go, but the ants are only small. It's like, but not a lot of them. So I was like that, managed to get the Acromimex. So at least sort of like, they're not going to have as big a colony. They'll still have big enough, but
yeah.
And of course, leafcutters are probably one of the most popular invertebrates in any zoo.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say they're one of the most popular ant species out there.
Yeah, it's because they're doing something, and that's the thing, and that's often the thing, a challenge of any zookeeper, and especially invert zookeepers, is creating interest.
Yes.
Sometimes, on average, when people go to a zoo, look at an enclosure, they spend 3 seconds looking at the enclosure.
Yeah, and then they
That's
walk on to the
that's
next
the
one.
And the bars are found was 3 seconds per enclosure, and that included mammals and stuff. So that included, going and seeing things like giraffes or elephants or tigers or lions or whatever.
Yeah.
3 seconds. Oh, then
Wow.
we're off. And if that's things that people tend to be more interested in, often people come to the zoo for those sorts of animals, not necessarily the inverts and the reptiles and stuff.
Yeah.
We're like, well, they're spending 3 seconds watching those. How long are they spending, looking at our tarantulas or our beetles or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's always like, well, we've got to try and create interest.
Something, yeah.
So if they're moving, fantastic. Because, tarantulas, you can have the most beautiful tarantula going. But if it's just sat there doing nothing, unless that's a tarantula person interested in the tarantula, oh my God, you've got that species, like us tarantula will move on. But the leafcutter ants, when they're going and in their full capacity, then like, oh, look at them, they love watching them, and sometimes simple things, a display of locusts, that can be really popular.
Okay.
So, I think, well, locusts, they're just food, feed them to things, but actually put locusts on display, and people love it, again, because they're moving.
Yeah,
so,
because they're doing stuff constantly.
That's it. And so, another thing then try and do is mixed species enclosures where you can. So I do have a large one in my African sands building of millipedes, snails, and sun beetles. It's sort of 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot tank, with UV light wave over the top, with T5 UV lights and stuff to light it all up.
Nice.
And then because of that, there's always something going on in that tank.
Yes, so,
much
like mine.
There's 3 species in there. You might not see all the like hardly ever see the millipedes in there. At the moment, mainly see the sun beetles, and then occasionally you'll see the snails and stuff. And people come back sometimes 3 or 4 times in the day, like, oh, there's something else going on, And there's isopods in there as well and stuff. So there's always something to sort of see.
Yeah. Like, I completely agree with that. My multi-species tank, whenever I see it, because there's always something going on, I'm stood there for like 10, 20 minutes watching it. And sometimes you can kind of walk past some of the other ant colonies without taking much of a notice of something, because there's just not that same activity level, like you say.
Yeah. Hey, Scott. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah. Hello, everyone in the chat. Welcome, everyone who I haven't said hello to already. After the interview's finished, you're all more than welcome to stay. I do like a chat for a little bit. I think Ryan's going to come on and join me for the chat. Phil, you're more than welcome to stay if you want to, but I know you're busy and probably getting tired because you've been streaming before this as well, haven't you? So
this is actually the third string tonight.
Exactly. So if you want to go, we wouldn't be offended, you know what I mean? But you're more than welcome to stay for a bit of random chat. We do duck races and things like that. It's just a bit of fun. But we'll carry on with the interview for now because we're not far from the end, I promise. Do you have any other hobbies?
My main other one, which I haven't done for ages, mainly because of time and stuff, is drumming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just haven't been able to do it for ages. But yeah, I'm a drummer. I love metal music. And I haven't been in a band for a long time, but yeah, when I had time and was in bands and stuff, that was always great fun. And so I'm going around gigging and stuff. Certainly miss going to gigs and stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting back out to gigs and festivals and stuff again. I mean, luckily I've got to go to Bloodstock again last year, so I was happy with that because that's like my second home.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
So hopefully going to that again this year because Bloodstock for me, I can go down, I go through doors and then it's like relax. I can forget about cares of the world for a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just and switch off from everything and just relax. Of like, I'm in a field, I've got nothing to do, nothing, apart from watch bands.
Yeah,
Little thing. So,
that's brilliant.
so yeah. Apart from animals, that's sort of the other hobby. I mean, otherwise, end up collecting. I've got a few house plants. You end up, comes with the territory of want to do some plants in tanks and stuff. You end up and then go, oh, I like this house plant. Oh, it's got too. Oh no, it's too big for my tank. I suppose I have to have it just as a house plant, or whatever.
So many of them, yeah, so many.
I've definitely got the sort of the collector gene, as some people call it, of got to collect things. Sort of thing. It's been well, I've got so many species things up here, and you always find new things. And like, it's got a point where I'm running out of space for big stuff, so I'm going smaller stuff instead. So like, right, let's buy small scorpions, let's buy diddy little scorpions, let's buy isopods that don't take up a lot of room, let's buy this, that, the other that's tiny.
So I've started doing exactly the same. I started buying smaller, but I won't say what it is yet, but there's some smaller things coming on the channel at the minute because I'm starting to run out of room. But actually, much like yourself, one of my other hobbies is drumming. It's what I did in college, was music and things like that. I drummed all the way since I was probably about 5 years old. Love it. I was in bands.
I was about 10 with my first drum kit.
Yeah, I think I was about 11 when I got the whole kit. I started on a snare drum in like a military band and worked my way up to jazz and metal and everything else. And I love it.
Yeah, no. Well, originally I wasn't allowed a drum kit. It was piano.
Yeah,
and then my parents soon regretted that. Terrible at piano, and they were much happier when they allowed me to get the drum kit because they couldn't tell when I went wrong. Sort of thing. There wasn't, you didn't get some horrible clash of notes or anything. It was sort of like, if I went wrong, it didn't matter because it's just, it's not going to sort of hurt your ears, sort of thing. So done that. From the age, and there's if you're doing this, you're getting lessons. So I was like, had lessons and went to drum school. Was quite lucky to do, and then because I went there, I mean, it's a fair few years ago that I was for at least for a couple of years I was a Guinness World Record holder for drumming.
Oh wow!
Stuff. Cool. We drummed 60 hours.
Wow.
So they held that for like a couple of years before, and then it was beaten.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty insane, actually.
Well, and through that, managed to sort of do a few gigs up and down the country. Played Bloodstock in 2013.
Nice, very cool
stuff. And do some really cool gigs and stuff. Which was great fun.
Yeah. I've never played anything as big as Bloodstock. I've done quite a few gigs.
That was my biggest. That was absolutely my biggest. It was the new Blood stage. And as my first time going to Bloodstock, and he was also like, "Oh, yeah, new Blood. It's not going to be a big stage. Oh no, big enough to hold a couple of thousand people." Sort of thing. And stuff. And it was like, "Oh, okay, it's actually a fairly decent sized stage for bands that people haven't heard of," sort of thing, which is which is a really great thing at Bloodstock because they really support grassroots, which is really nice and stuff. And it was like, "Oh, okay," and then done that, and we're like, "Oh yeah, you had Metal Hammer watching you, you had this guy watching you, Gus G from Firewinds came and watched us."
Yes. Cool. Wow.
And we're like, "Oh my god."
Ozzy
Osbourne's came and watched us.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So moving on, do you take in rescues if someone had isopods they couldn't keep hold of or a tarantula that they were struggling with? Would you take it in?
I certainly have done. I've got a video on my channel. One's not been out because I actually put this on display in the zoo, so I've donated it to the zoo. But I had someone ring up. It wasn't that long, a couple of months ago. That was doing a house clearance. And whilst doing this house clearance, they came across 2 tarantulas.
Oh wow.
in tanks, but they were like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with these, sort of
Yeah.
thing. So they've just been abandoned.
Okay.
And so,
I did see that video actually.
and someone, he was sort of like, oh, I'll just let him go, let him outside. And luckily enough, someone told him, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Don't do that. And they was like, well, what am I going to do with him? And then suggested sort of contacting the park, which the park then came to me with it being like, what do you think, Phil? And I was like, well, I'll take him. We had a spare tank within the park. I was like, if one's suitable to go on display, I'll donate it because I'll be working with it anyway, so it makes no difference to me. So if it's not too similar to the ones we have already.
Yeah.
And they came in the tanks. One's still up here, which I'll keep anyway. Which is a curly hair, which I kind of expected.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a Caribbean versicolor, or the Antilles pink toe tarantula, which put on display in the park in a fully planted enclosure, which that will be eventually a video on my channel. The sort of the build of that enclosure. I need to edit the video and do all the speeding up of the footage, and then first get that onto the zoo's social media and stuff, and then it'll go up onto my channel afterwards.
Yeah.
So, and then also actually, we rehomed between me and my parents. Rehomed 4 tarantulas, two of which they took. So she took one. I gave one to a friend to have as well, because one was a salmon pink, and I was like, well, I've got 5 salmon pink bird eaters, I don't need another one, sort of thing. So I gifted that to someone else. So it was like, well, if I can help, sort of thing. So I do take in a few every now and then. From people. My parents have rehomed reptiles over the years. So as I was part of working in a zoo, do you get a lot of emails every now and then being like, we've got this, can you take it?
Yeah.
And stuff. Unfortunately, often zoos we can't. Often because of certain regulations, quarantine issues.
Yeah.
So history of the animals don't necessarily know. So like things like reptiles, to take in a reptile rehomed, we'd have to quarantine it for 6 months minimum.
Wow.
And stuff, to abide by all regulations and stuff. And that we'd have to do multiple tests and stuff to make sure they're not carrying anything.
Yeah, of course.
So often, we can't take, people's reptiles. Inverts is slightly different. Often again, it depends on if we actually got space for anything else, or whether it fits with our collection plans and stuff. We have, certain boxes we need to tick, kind of thing. Or, is there conservation value to it? Is there an educational value to it? Will it display well, kind of thing, especially with inverts.
Yeah.
Stuff. Is it too similar to what we've got already?
Yeah.
So it's not. Unfortunately, a lot of people think it's an easy thing. We'll just say, ring up our local zoo, they'll take our animal. But actually, it's not that simple.
It's not.
Often we can't. Sometimes we'll, if we have people like, I'll try and help people with it. So whether it's privately into my parents' collection or my collection, or point them in the direction of things like the National Centre for Reptile Welfare. That is a rehoming centre for reptiles. So, and they're doing some invert stuff, but I'm not. Their invert side of things isn't great. I've told them that.
Okay.
Sort of thing. Because they're not invert people. They think, they see things, and like some of their leaflets have been like, I don't agree with this, and told them about that.
No, that's good. It's good to speak out if you see something that you think is wrong. It's good to speak out and try and get it changed.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, like the rehoming, when I went there, one of the leaflets for tarantulas was make sure you got a sponge in their water bowl, and I was like, no. That information, went out like over 20 years ago. Why are we still saying this little thing?
Yeah.
But again, it's because they would have read that somewhere and gone, "Oh, okay."
And yeah.
Sort
And,
of thing,
and there's a lot of that about in all the different ants, bearded dragons. I find there's a lot of that old information still creeps its way through. I think mainly because of the massive marketing that was behind it, it's still there. Bad products being sold, bad information going with it. It's constant.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, especially with things like bearded dragons, leopard geckos and stuff. They're quite a common one, and so if you suffer different, you're shot down.
Yeah.
So, there's still people that argue over UV for leopard geckos.
Yeah.
They're nocturnal. They're not nocturnal at all, because I know people that go out and study them in the wild and see them out during the day. So they're not nocturnal. So, and well, actually, Herb HQ put out a video recently. There's some good people, but the fact that leopard geckos aren't a desert animal.
Okay.
They're found in forests.
Yeah.
They are found in the desert as well, but you'll find them in forests.
Yeah.
So, again, a friend of mine, he's been out and he's seen literally these species of leopard gecko we keep in captivity in mossy forests. And he said, and he measured the rainfall. He found that the measurement of the rainfall there, and it was the same as the Amazon rainforest.
Wow. So very, very wet.
Very wet. And he put up a picture on iNaturalist and stuff, and went wild leopard gecko. But he showed that to leopard gecko breeders and stuff, and they're like, no, that's they don't live there. And it's like, well, they do.
They do, yeah.
And some of it again, we think, Pakistan, well, it must be dry. Well, not necessarily.
No.
They've got forests in Pakistan.
Yes.
They've got forests in India. They've got forests in Afghanistan. Some of it actually, it's fairly moist.
Yeah.
And stuff in areas. And so, why, for years and years and years, it was always, have a moist hide and a dry hide.
Yeah.
Well, if we put them on moist hide, then surely, actually, maybe we need to up humidity in the areas. So, they obviously need that.
Yes.
And so perhaps give them the choice.
Yeah.
And the animal knows better than we do. So you give them the choice of an area that, that is more humid, that is more damp, and then an area that's more dry, and let the animal choose where it wants to be.
Yeah, give them that gradient. That's exactly what I try and do with my tanks, is have a warmer side, a drier side, and all of that going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, and your warmer side is your bright, your more lit side and stuff, and warmer and stuff, and then the other side, a bit more dark, more damp, and everything cooler and stuff, and the animal will then regulate itself of where it wants to be.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think if you're not doing that, then you're doing something wrong in the first place.
That's it. All about progression, keeping an open mind.
Yeah,
and so, and someone's realised animal keeping, no matter what it is an evolving thing. It's constantly changing. Yeah. What we do now, next year, 2 years time, we might be looking at, I can't believe I've done that, or whatever.
Yeah.
New information that comes out, new technology that comes out, and so, and it's keeping open and being willing to always change things and stuff, and not to get stuck of, well, I've done this for 20 years, so this must work, sort of thing. It's like, well, how can we, sort of sometimes improve things and stuff?
Yeah.
Look at other things, things like, providing sometimes simple things like somewhere to climb for snakes and stuff, giving them access to climb things, they'll climb it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so access for a bearded dragon to climb.
Yeah.
I've heard the bearded vet in Australia and Scott Iper in Australia and stuff. You hear them on podcasts and stuff, and people say, well, where do you see the bearded dragon? They're like on top of a fence that's 6 foot tall, up a tree. And like, I do see them on the ground. Not often.
Not
they're
often,
climbing.
no. Yeah.
They're always climbing on something.
That's
they're a very different animal. The wild bearded dragons are a very different animal to the one you get in captivity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very, very true. And it's something I always strive for, is to enrich their life in the best way I can, give them that sort of natural ability that they want to climb and things like that.
yeah, but again, that sometimes scares people because they hear impaction, and that scares them.
Yeah.
So they hear, oh, loose substrate is the devil and stuff. Keep them on loose substrate, they're going to get impaction. And so, well, impaction is a secondary effect of a bigger issue.
Okay.
If impacted, you're not keeping it right. Regardless, that's not the substrate. You haven't got the right heating, the right humidity, the right lighting, and that's where it gets confusing for people. And it is confusing. So I have to speak to all sorts of people to then go, oh, okay, this is how it should be done.
Yeah.
Of products are sold all the time and marketed for the wrong reasons. So for reptile basking, it's halogen lamp.
Yeah.
So if you're not that really the only sort of bulb that you should use for a basking bulb is a halogen lamp because it penetrates deep into the tissue. So it produces good infrared A, so it heats your muscles. But there's things like ceramic lamps. Ceramic heaters have been around for years, and a lot of people use those. The problem is ceramic heaters produce infrared C that heats your skin and doesn't really go any further than your skin.
Yeah.
So you think about a reptile then basking underneath that, it's getting warm skin, but it's not actually warming up the animal at all.
Yeah.
So, and again, they're marketed for the wrong thing. That should be just an ambient heater.
Yes.
So if you need some heat at night, so it doesn't drop too much, yes, ceramic.
Yeah.
It's going to do that for you. The DP projectors came out, and all three of them, all three that you can mainly get. Again, they don't really produce much infrared A, so again, they're more just a background heat source, not a basking heat source. Because again, it's been found that all of them only go about skin deep, so they're not heating up the muscles. Whereas halogen, an animal goes on there, within minutes, it's heated up. So it's then running around as it should be, and not just sitting there for hours and days.
Hours,
And so
it makes a massive, massive difference, like you say, because they need that heat to get their energy from, don't they? It's not just a bit of heat.
That's it. That's it. And you see the difference as well when you go over the halogens on things. You see the difference instantly. So, like a bearded dragon under halogen is completely different to a bearded dragon under DP projector or ceramic.
Yeah.
DP projector ceramic, they're sitting there most of the day trying to get warm. Boom, under halogens, they're warm. Boom, they're active. Sort of thing. They're digging around. They're climbing up things.
Makes a massive difference.
And then with the right UV lighting as well, and that can be confusing because there's so many brands out there.
Yeah.
UV lighting, Arcadia are widely considered the number one. That's what a lot of zoos use. Is Arcadia, the T5 lamps. Reptile Systems are also considered really good for a lot of people. I haven't used them myself, so I can't speak of experience with Reptile Systems, but that's another brand that a lot of people speak very highly of.
Yeah.
And so, but Arcadia is most zoos use those guys, and we work with Arcadia quite a lot in developing products as well. And so they come to zoo conferences to us, and we chat with them about product designs, and stuff, and certain things, because we don't always use Arcadia products. I mean, one of the things we use for UV lighting is actually is a plant grow unit from Growth Technology. It's a unit that can hold up to 4 UV tubes in one unit.
That's cool.
They just hang, and then we just replace the bulbs. We just replace the tubes. We'll keep sometimes some of the plant tubes in there just to add in the other colours of light. Plants. But you can get some really good UV index levels with those units because they're beasts of units. Some of them. As you know, we just got one in at the park. I think we recently got one that's going to be installed over our cables at some point. I think it's 8 tubes. I think I've been told that we have got an 8 tube one. So one that is like 4 foot long and holds 8 T5 tubes.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot of a unit. It's a lot of light, but they're not that expensive for what they are and what they put out. They're not all that expensive. So, and the amount of UV you can get out of that thing is just it's fantastic. And you can then have the UV lights further away from the animal as well.
Yes, which
So,
is better.
so
Yeah,
like something with like an 8-tubed unit, we can potentially have that on the ceiling with some strong UVs and get the perfect index at ground level.
yeah.
sort of
Which
thing.
much more space, which makes a massive difference.
It absolutely does, because often, a lot of bulbs are marketed. All the measurements you'll see on the bulbs are for 30 centimeters, because that's the average for a viv is 30 centimeters away from the animal.
Yeah.
And then it's like that's what they deem as safe at 30 centimeters away. Often in zoos, we're looking at things that are 2-3 foot away from the animal.
Yeah.
So we look at bigger.
Yeah, that's fair. Like you say, you've got much bigger enclosures to kind of work with.
Yep.
Is there anything like any inverts that you wouldn't keep, that you absolutely don't want, you don't like, you're scared of?
I don't think there's any I would necessarily. I'm scared. There's ones I wouldn't keep because I don't necessarily agree with them being in captivity.
Right. Okay.
Or also of that ones that perhaps we can't breed in captivity, and so we're just wild caught all the time.
Yeah.
So, although I'm not completely against wild capture, which sometimes sounds kind of weird for a zookeeper to say, but I'm against it if we cannot breed them.
Yeah.
So just constantly bring them in from the wild, and we constantly seeing, these are not doing well. They're not, they're not thriving in captivity.
Yes.
So things like solifugids, very few people have success with solifugids. I mean, they're not long lifespan anyway themselves anyway as an animal, but you see them, they come over, see them at shows, and they're often half dead as it is, just from the journey over, and it's all like that's a real shame. A lot of people they buy them a few weeks later, a month later, they're dead. I think the longest I've heard of someone keeping them, is a sort of 2 to 3 months, and then they died.
Wow.
Well,
that's a shame.
That's a real shame. Things like the Egyptian tiger beetles, Amphios maculata, can't breed them in captivity. We haven't managed to do it. So they're all just well caught. Sold on, and they're an ant-eating specialist beetle. Sort of thing.
Right.
So there's maybe potential that they need potentially like formic acid in their diet. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't really know what their larvae eat because no one studied it.
Yeah.
Years ago, some people were talking about like setting up Lasius colonies, so the common black garden ant.
Yeah.
And trying to see whether they could get the beetles alongside and stuff. And it's all like, is that going to happen? How much money you spend on that to do this? So I've kept them before because they are amazing looking beetles and they're active, and I can certainly see the appeal of them. So, and sometimes I'm tempted to this day. Sometimes they're really fun to keep. And I constantly remind myself, yeah, but you can't breed them. And so I think actually, I know with like Amphios sexcutata from India, which were never really bred in captivity, and then India closed down. Everyone kept them wrong, which is probably the same with the Egyptian ones. That people go, "Oh, it's Egypt, it's desert," but actually, the Indian ones came from cotton fields and stuff, and lived on cotton soil, and went through monsoon seasons, so they got flooded. Potentially, Sex maculata need that as well. Potentially, maybe they're kept far too dry. So maybe they need to go through a monsoon season and stuff as well. Perhaps we need to, flood them, but that's really difficult to do in a tiny little glass tank. Without killing the animal. Scots-foot velvet worms. They're true because I know someone who has bred velvet worms in captivity. I don't know if she ever really officially announced it. She did show me pictures of her baby velvet worms, but they are difficult to keep them cold. So I had velvet worms once years ago when I first moved in here and kept them in my fridge.
Oh, right.
That was because they don't like it much above 5 degrees. So they need it cold.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so they are a difficult one. Certainly, not for the average sort of keeper. I don't necessarily know if they're going to necessarily come over to the UK anymore anyway, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, things like the giant pill bugs in Zootharium neptunus and stuff, they're another classic one that gets brought over often from Madagascar. Sometimes from a national park, so it's meant to be protected.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're collected in their hundreds, brought over. They don't live long.
No.
So, and again, it's because we can't actually replicate what they need to survive.
That environment. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, we can't replicate that in captivity. So it's just that bit too difficult. Coconut crabs, another one that just doesn't do well. I mean, they get huge, massive, the largest hermit crab.
Yeah.
And so, they don't do well. So yeah, ones that are sort of like what we really struggle keeping in captivity, or we really struggle to breed. If there's no chance of really breeding in captivity, we probably shouldn't keep it.
Yeah.
Sort of. So if if it's ones that are being collected from protected areas, so that's like, well, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
we're a big part of a problem here.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
thing. And we see it, with scorpions, the emperor scorpion. The reason that they're so expensive now is because they were all being collected in the wild.
Yeah.
Not many people are breeding them. The numbers declined, so zoos and societies got involved to put a ban on it, and put a ban on their wild capture. So, and the problem is that we could easily get to that stage with other things. Which is what is to try and breed it if you can, and so even if it's just a few, and try and source out captive bred stock. Again, it might be slightly more expensive, but you're not taking it from the wild. So especially if especially if you have no interest in actually breeding the animal.
Yeah.
So, go captive bred. But that was one of the problems like with emperor scorpions. An adult emperor years ago used to be a tenner. I remember buying emperor scorpions for £10. So they're now like £100 for an adult sort of thing. But a baby, captive bred baby, would be a fiver. And people, you want that. Humans, we want that instant gratification of, well, I've got £5 for a little baby scorpion, or £10 for a really big scorpion. I want that really big scorpion, sort of thing.
Yeah, of course.
That's the way it happened, sort of thing. And the same is going with some of the heterometra species and stuff. You see a lot of adults and sub-adults for sale, but you don't necessarily see youngsters for sale all the time.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, people, if they're just buying the odd scorpion here and there, I mean, I still do that. Where I kind of like, I want to try and pair stuff up and at least have a go at breeding them, and then get some. So I'm hoping I've got a pair of Pandidipalpus viatoris. So I'm hoping I believe I've got a pair. So I'm hoping to pair those up and see if I can get those breeding.
Nice.
So, I'm hoping I've got a pair of Heterometrus silenus to hopefully to pair up. So trying to get a bit there where I can.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you find that there are health issues in the captive bred ones, like because of inbreeding and stuff?
So with certain species, certainly like with colony species, if you don't put in new blood, yes, you're going to get weaker colonies. So with cockroaches, octopods, and stuff. Certainly, stick insects are sexual breeders rather than parthenogenic breeders, and even sometimes in the parthenogenic ones, actually, things like Extatosoma terratum, the giant prickly or maclay speck stick insect. they're far smaller than the wild ones in Australia.
Right.
The
Okay.
ones in
Yeah.
Australia are actually a lot bigger than the captive ones. I think potentially because there've been too many that have been parthenogenic and potentially inbreeding over the years and stuff. So that's sort of difficult. And so, in terms of like diseases, stuff, there are things. There's fungal issues, there's bacterial issues and stuff, but things like veterinary care for invertebrates is very, very sort of new. And
Yeah.
stuff. It's being looked at. And so on the AKC license on the Sundays, like the first one I hosted, I had an invertebrate vet on.
Oh wow.
When he comes to the zoo conferences and stuff, and that he's an exotics vet with an interest in inverts and looking at, okay, well, this is happening. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Is there something we can do about it? Is there, so I know he's looked into things like black eye in praying mantis and see, what's going on there, what's that about. He's looking into various things to do with tarantulas and stuff. So, like, a common thing you'll hear with tarantulas is DKS,
Right.
often referred to, which just describes sort of symptoms and stuff. And people say, "Oh, my tarantula died of DKS."
Yeah.
So, but no one really knows what's causing this. It's basically like erratic movements and stuff, and various things. Well, actually, what's the root cause of this kind of behaviour? Why are they not able to move as they should?
Yeah.
So, I know he's looked at fungal diseases in stick insects. And so I've looked at treating fungal diseases in stick insects. He has done things like checking heartbeats of spiders.
Wow.
So,
What?
Study things of doing like amputations of tarantula legs if they get damaged.
Yeah. Okay.
So, how to inject them with medications and stuff if sort of needed. That's quite extreme for a tarantula.
Yeah.
So, and normally, if you can, it's sort of oral medication. So I was looking at various medications of what could be used in tarantulas and so, and various other invertebrates as well. He's interested in kind of the lot and like going like, well the invert keeping hobby seems to be on the up. A lot of people do keep invertebrates as pets nowadays.
Yes.
So, but surely what happens when they get ill? They may get ill, sort of thing. So it's something that zoos have been within sort of BIASA, which is what we're a member of as a zoo, which it's an association, if you like. It's a British and Irish Association of Zoos and Aquaria. So it's like a membership body, but like a governing body type thing.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be a member to be a zoo, but it helps.
It helps. Yeah.
And within that, we have working groups. So I'm a member of like the reptile and amphibian working group and then the terrestrial invertebrate working group. So we have conferences every year, or most years we have a conference. So normally 3 days where we're chatting about husbandry, conservation, veterinary, lighting, all this sort of stuff. And one year we actually teamed up with the Veterinary Invertebrate Society to have a conference generally focused on veterinary practice for invertebrates and where sort of vets could help us out, where we could help sort of vets out and stuff. It was really because a lot of vets don't get taught about, they don't get taught about inverts at all, really. They don't get taught about anything that's not cat or dog unless they take exotics sort of thing as a thing after they've sort of gone through their veterinary studies. And of course, inverts are so different. So we had some vet students come to the conference, and they got tired. Oh, here's my cockroach. It's ill, sort of thing. Or it seems a bit off color, sort of thing. Like to see what questions are. And of course, the question there sort of like, well, when did you last eat and drink? I'm like, I don't know. Sort of thing. I popped food in there yesterday. He's probably eating, but there's 20 others in there. Sort of thing. So that might have eaten. He may have drunk some when I, gave a bit of a miss down on the side, but I don't know. Sort of thing. They think a bit outside the box in terms of all that sort of thing. And so and that's a whole minefield. I mean, there's like maybe 5 vets in the UK that are specialist invert vets.
Wow.
So, I know one of them, 2 of them are friends of mine. One of them, she went over to the US for a bit to Disney.
Right.
Vet at Disney. And so, the chat with him because he's like one of the leading invert vets in the world.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Because they do a lot of work with parcher snails, which are really incredibly endangered snails.
Yeah.
So I went over there to do some work. And so, but it's a whole other minefield, and looking at various things, and it's going to take years for things to build up and stuff. But essentially, if you got an invert, and it is going to looking a bit off whether do hound vets.
Yeah, of course.
The more people hound vets for veterinary advice for invertebrates, the more
needed.
They're going to start looking into it more.
Yeah.
And start being
definitely.
like, oh, okay, there is a need here.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yes, you might get blank stares by your local veterinary practice, so it's best to go to one that's an exotic vet to begin with.
Yeah.
One that deals at least with lives and stuff and be like, I've got this, I don't know if you can help, sort of thing. And they'll hopefully look into it.
No, that's really good advice. If there's anything that you could change in the invert keeping hobby, what would it be?
Oof. I think it goes well with invert and the reptile side of things, and I think it's every animal hobby. To be fair, it's sometimes on Facebook forums, sometimes the behaviour in a lot of that, like when people ask a question and they get shot down for that question.
Yeah.
And it's not just the invert, it's everything. Seeing the reptile side of things all the time, seeing millipede group. I mean, reptile side of things can be some of the forums. Like people will be like, "Oh, I'm thinking of getting this animal. What do I need to know?" And people are like, "Well, if you don't know, you shouldn't get it." And like, that's why they're asking.
That's why, that's why they're asking. Yeah.
But they've literally said, "I'm thinking of," so they haven't got the animal. They're looking into it. And they'll be like, "What do you do?" It's like, well, this can, it can class as part of their research and stuff. Don't shoot down the person for asking the question, that sort of thing.
No, definitely.
We've all been beginners at one point where, oh my God, there's all this information out here. What the hell's this? I mean, when I first started, didn't look online for things because it wasn't really a thing. It was looking in various books and going to reptile clubs and this, that, the other, and, even looking at newsletters and stuff, but certainly like you see online in so many forums and stuff, people are asking about whatever, and it's do your research, and like, well, this is part of it nowadays. Online can be part of research, and so Facebook, all the social media platforms can be really good tools for research. And so if people are just nice to people and actually go, here's my thoughts, sort of thing, and then get someone else's opinion and stuff, and get from various places. But don't shoot people down just for asking a question. So I mean, sometimes just remember at one point you were a beginner as well, and you perhaps panicked about that same thing. Do see sometimes I've seen before where people are, my whatever tarantula has gone down the burrow and I haven't seen it for X amount of days or X amount of weeks or whatever. Is this normal? And so I'm like, well, if you don't know, you shouldn't have that. So I'm like, well, we've all been there in the tarantula world. Our first tarantula, it's burrowed. Oh my God, well, it's all right, sort of thing. We've all gone through that, sort of thing. So it's like, just reassure. Like, it's all right, sort of thing. That is absolutely fine. But unfortunately, Scott's just put there. Facebook can be toxic at times.
Yeah, it really can.
So,
I mean, we're really lucky in the ant keeping world. We've got a really great community that was sort of building up. Obviously, there are still those people which shoot you down, but we're sort of building it around the nicer people, if you know what I mean. Like everyone in my Discord is absolutely amazing. Pretty much everyone that joins my streams is absolutely amazing. And then when someone does join, we all just kind of give them shit until they leave because they're not welcome. And you know, we're a nice family community of helping people.
I mean, that's it, and that's what for me. That's what hobbies should be about. Is you know, we can all have different opinions, but we can all at least get along.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
We don't have to be, you know, horrible about it and stuff. You know, the way I keep something can be different to the way someone else keeps something, but we can still get along. Sort of thing.
Yeah, and
also,
communicate
what works for me may not work for you. You know.
Yeah.
Especially with invert, all our rooms are very different to each other. And so the way I keep, you know, where an OBT, you know, may be different to the way, you know, Scott keeps an OBT or whatever, but that's how it works for me in my room. Perhaps if I'd done the way I'd done in his room, it wouldn't work. Sort of thing.
Okay, and
I was, you know, moving that tank along the shelf, upper shelf, across the other side of the room can make a big difference as well.
Yeah, definitely with the environment and whatnot.
And stuff. So, you know, you know, again, like we all have sometimes different ways, and as long as the animal itself is healthy, is thriving, you know, it's doing everything it should do and stuff, you know, then, you know, it's working. You know, if you've got stuff that's constantly dying, stuff that's wrong. Sort of thing, you know, you've got something easily wrong there. So we can all have different opinions on it, different ways of keeping and stuff. You know, we don't necessarily have to be, you know, on at each other about and, you know, calling each other this, that, the other, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the way we kept, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing is like, you know, be supportive of each other, and you know, best thing if you don't like someone really is probably not there to necessarily say anything.
Yeah, no, that's how I was always taught. Like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's simple, isn't it?
Because especially like sharing, you know, anything, if it's something that you're like, oh, this is really negative, you know, sharing a video from someone, that's still actually promote.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's half the issue, isn't it?
And so, and like, you know, so yeah, obviously, you know, stuff that's like majorly like, hang on a minute, this is not, you know, this is not on whatever. I mean, got to chat about his stream earlier, and so I was like, you know, just going there and politely be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't be doing it like this, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if something like is glaringly wrong, and it's sort of like, well, you know, often like, okay, you're doing this way, but how about you do this or whatever, or this is how, you know, why don't you think about doing it this way and stuff, and trying to engage with them, you know, even in like private messages or something, so like that, you know, I'm not going to blast you in public, and see where you're coming from on this one, but have you thought about this, or this is what my information is, or whatever. And so often I don't really post much on like forums and stuff, because I'm just like, you know what, it just gives me a headache. Sometimes I stick to, you know, some of the private zoo ones and stuff. And so, once that, you know, in sort of group chats and stuff, like, if I need information on stuff, and I mean, like, I've got some of the best keepers in Europe that I can quickly ask stuff of and stuff. You know, whether it be, you know, people on YouTube or people in zoos. I've got people at Chester Zoo at, you know, a quick text away. Sort of thing. And so like, I can just ask them, oh, I've got this. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I'm struggling, or whatever. And they'll go, oh, here you go. This is what you need to do. It's like, brilliant. Sort of thing.
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, I wish I had that. I really do.
Cheers, Ryan. So Ryan's comment about the Panda Kings.
Yeah.
He asked
I
me
will
how I
ask-
kept mine.
Yeah, go on. If you want to answer that, Phil, if you want to answer how to keep Panda Kings.
So the way I've been doing mine, I mean, they're really getting the enclosure actually. It's only small.
And if there is any other questions for Phil before he leaves, please do send them in now, and I will make sure that everything gets asked at the end of my questions.
So yeah, really simple. It's a plastic lunchbox with ventilation drilled in the top. And it's just they're kept humid.
Yeah.
So then just inside you got a big old chunk of limestone, or some cork bark. It's got organic compost and sort of sphagnum moss in there now. Limestone granules. Then I sprinkle on limestone flour, back guano as well. And I put a chunk of vegetable in here for them. So there's some babies on the carrot.
Oh,
So,
wow. Yeah. Cool.
So, and then
Wow. Beautiful. Look at them.
I mean, every time I look in it, I look in it about twice a week, and there's always seeming to be new babies.
Cool.
Like, all the time. So some of them now was quite interesting. Some of them are now looking more produced like ones that are more like white edged. Even some that look a bit more like penguins.
Yeah.
The Gvarus penguin. So I'm going to start separating out some of them just to have the different sort of lines going on. So, but yeah, I mean they're absolutely an amazing species of isopod. Especially once they get going, there's just tons of them in here.
No stopping them.
So, but you can buy it online. Happy Adam. It's just called limestone flour. It's a horse supplement.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's a horse supplement. It's also pretty much the base ingredient of pretty much all reptile dusts as well.
Yeah,
It's just far cheaper to buy it as a horse supplement.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah.
So, like, you can get like a 5 kilo for like, I don't know, a tenner or whatever.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow. Okay.
It's super cheap. But yeah, like, you know, a lot of reptile. I mean, I do like, especially like the Arcadia dusts. They are really good.
Yeah.
So, but you know, they're like 500 grams for like a tenner.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, and they don't last long.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've got a large collection. And I just sprinkle that just on top of the substrate, and they go through that. There's also some crushed duck eggshell in there as well for them. They haven't really gone for that all that much, but limestone flour certainly goes. The back guano goes.
Okay.
As well. So I've been doing that and a bit of a spray sort of every now and then. That, like I say, it's kept fairly damp in there. So they seem to be doing well.
Cool. Thank you for that. What is the biggest pet you keep, and what is the smallest pet you keep?
My biggest, probably one of my salmon pink bird eater spiders, probably.
Right.
I've got a decent sized mature male. He's probably the biggest one. Probably a toss up between that and the Scolopendra Diani. So giant centipede.
Yeah.
So probably a toss up between the two, kind of thing of the biggest that I've got currently. Which, you know, I mean, salmon pinks they do get a decent size. They are a decent sized tarantula.
Yeah.
So, smallest, if it's on species wise, probably the Cabaris.
Right.
and stuff. But I do have some spiderlings, which some of those are smaller. So like some are only like half a centimeter.
Yeah,
tiny.
like pinhead sized. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
So some of them are really, really tiny. So they're the smallest individuals at the moment.
Okay.
And stuff. But in terms of species, most probably, the panda kings. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I actually got the bat guano originally from Micro Exotics.
Right.
Because there's little bags of it. Because I don't necessarily want to get a big bucket of it, and if they don't eat it, then I'm stuck with a big bucket, sort of thing. But you can get it on Amazon. You can probably get it from garden centers as well.
Okay.
So,
I was going to ask, did you have like a ready supply of bat poop where you live at the zoo? Do you have bats?
I use the bat here purely because it's like concrete.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas this stuff is powdered. It's sold as like plant fertilizer and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, I'll try and get a small amount from Micro Exotics first. Plus, I do like helping out small businesses and stuff. And
of course,
Adam, he's a great guy. Chatted with him a few times. And so I did, I got it from him originally. But yeah, if you need a huge amount and you use it a lot, then it's going to be cheaper. Certainly, online or from a garden centre.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, thank you for that information because that's actually really handy. I've never known where to buy guano before, so I suppose I'll give it a try and on my plan.
Well, you just do like a Google search and it just comes up with Amazon. You can get it on eBay as well, probably.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you were going to recommend one overall species to start with, for a beginner wanting to get into inverts, say spiders, isopods, or what would you say?
That's a difficult one.
It really is because there's so much to it with the excitement.
There's so much variety as well.
Yeah.
So I think for me it'd be a case of sit down, have a look at Roxy, and see what see what you're drawn to.
Yeah.
I think it's and then go from there of doing the research into that. See about if you've never kept any inverts, go to an invert show.
Yeah.
See what's in or the British Transfer Society show or something like that. See what's available. Ask, go. You know what? I really like to look at these stick insects. These look really cool. Ask the person that bred them about stick insects and see if that stuff and that. Don't necessarily get them there and then. Go away and think about it. So enjoy your day out. Yes, you can pretty much get everything to look after whatever invert you want to keep at the shows. But perhaps go if you've never kept any invert before, just go to look. And have a look around. Go, oh yeah, this looks cool. The thing is, as with any hobby, it's addictive. And you soon end up with those. And if I'm very much a generalist invert keeper, which in some ways is difficult because then I want more of everything.
Yeah.
And after I go, well, I can't keep that because I want to keep this sort of thing. Like there's certain tracks I would love to keep. I don't keep at the moment because I'm like, I don't have the space for that when it's broken. And so because whatever. Because I also like keeping these. So especially with some of the large species. So see what takes your fancy, and then research that type of animal, that species, and stuff. Because that way you'll hopefully enjoy keeping it more than going, oh, someone said the best, invert is this. Going out getting that and then not enjoying it. So that's what I would say is like, look, you might be a beetle person, you go down and see these, some bright, colourful beetles and go, they're really cool. And then you can look into how do I keep these beetles and stuff. Are they easy to keep? Some beetles are really easy to keep. Some beetles are really difficult to keep.
Yeah.
I mean, am I willing to go out and either collect substrate or make substrate? And so, depending on what design at the moment, I'm trying to make my first ever batch of flake soil for beetles. So, never made flake soil before, so I'm giving it a go.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, for my rhino beetles, so, especially for the larvae. So,
Yeah.
You might see, tarantulas and go, some of the tarantulas there and go, oh my god, this is an amazing looking tarantula. And so maybe tarantulas are for me, and then you go, right, what's the basics of tarantulas, and then what does that species need?
Yes.
So certainly with tarantulas, first one I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting slings. So there's tiny slidings just because they are small.
Yeah.
I think they're more delicate.
Yeah.
So they are cheaper because of that reason. They're delicate. There's more likelihood of it going wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get grown on and get a little juvenile, there's like going to be a little bit more forgiving sort of thing of you not necessarily doing things quite right.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but happy answer just pointing there that you start with things. It doesn't mean to say that you can't start with things. It all depends on what you feel you can do. And having a look. So, everyone has everything. Some people in the transfer world start off straight in the deep end with old worlds. And so, me and Happy, we both know someone who his first ever transfers was an HMAC and a calciatum. Both are very, very fast African arboreal tarantulas with some strong venom. So,
okay.
it's like, okay, yeah, these are actually slightly scary. And we're like, yeah, we did tell you. Sort of thing.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So it's become a bit of a running joke. But again, some people will start off, and go, as long as you know what you're getting into and you're prepared for it, sort of thing. But I think it did shock him a bit of like just how quick they can be. Sort of
Yeah.
Sort of thing, like, they can be.
That's fair. Right, so we've got a few questions from the chat as well. So we're going to start running through them. Right, we've got one from Ants Life UK. Is the rubber duck isopods, do they cost a lot?
They do. They're not the most expensive. There are ones now that are far more expensive than the rubber duckies. Lemon blues, they're another amazing looking Cabaris. But like rubber duckies, you're talking somewhere, for 10, sometimes nearly £200.
Whoa!
Sort of thing.
Wow.
So depending on where you go, sometimes you'll find them cheaper. So lemon blues, amazing looking ones. So many photos. I'm like, oh my god, they look awesome. But I think I saw them for sale once. 10 of those was about £350.
Right. Wow.
For 10. So our tricolours, they're up there in price. Happy, and they're really expensive. Chatting with someone the other day, and he was offered ones from a seller in Thailand. He owns in Thailand anyway. As one of these, one of the ones that are actually spiky, so they've got little spikes over the body, which look awesome. Until a guy went, yeah, they're $200 American each.
What?
Yeah, no, you're right. So because I've got at least 10 to start off with.
Yeah.
Then paying for shipping over from Southeast Asia to get them over to the UK, and all legally as well. That's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Wow. And then they might not survive the journey. Sort of thing. And so maybe not. And stuff. But yeah, so some of the Cabaris and the tricolours and stuff, they're up there in price. A lot of it's because they're in high demand, so supply and demand all the time. They are certainly like rubber duckies. From my research that I've done, are a lot more sensitive, a lot more sort of slow to get going. Like if you want Cabaris, Panda King's for me are the way to go. They're still fairly expensive.
Yeah.
For a nice spot. So I was selling some at the show, a group of 5 for £30.
Right. Okay.
I was thinking before. And a couple of years, was a year ago, whether I was seeing them at £50 for 5. So they're coming down in price.
Yeah.
And so, because, more and more people are keeping them now and breeding them. So, but things like, the rubber ducky price is probably going to remain that bit higher just because of that. There's that demand for them, and they are a bit slower in breeding, it seems, and a bit more delicate. So, and then you got then things like the lemon blues and the Jupiters and all the various other Cabaras that are coming out. Someone said there was white sharks. They looked amazing, and again they were like they're up there in price as well. So like not
yet. One day.
That's it. So things like the Panda Kings I'm using of like as they're breeding well for me, as I sell them, there will be like a rubber ducky fund.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Suck them to rubber duckies and hopefully do them and do it that way, kind of thing. But there's other amazing, ice wads out there as well. I mean, was it Spatulas? They look pretty cool. Bolivari, they're really cool as well. And they're all ones that are like, sort of 30 £35 for 5.
Yeah.
So sort of don't break the bank at least.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then, you get some that are just way up there in price. But it's the same with, everything. There's always a species or a couple of species that's, way up there that's super in high demand and just isn't bred that often or that much. Got things like these Solaris tarantula. You're talking like £600.
Wow.
And stuff. They get something like that.
That's quite a lot of money, but wow.
That's it.
We've got another question here from Shane. Do you know the best place you could get a scorpion?
Yeah, but in the UK, we got the Spider Shop. They do a fair few scorpions. I've certainly bought scorpions off them online. Venomous Visions, he does scorpions. Tony Webb.
He's good.
So, he's a sound seller as well. Bugs UK sell scorpions online too.
Okay.
They have a few different species. At the shows, people like Clayton Patilla, he only sells at shows. He normally has some, and he has pretty decent prices actually. For his, if you go to a show, you look around.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And sometimes look at people that aren't the big names as well, because sometimes they can be cheaper than the big names.
Yeah.
Stuff. But in terms of on there, they're probably the main three. Yeah, the Spider Shop, Venomous Visions, and Bugs UK.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that. And I'm going to say that is the end of the interview. Thank you very, very much for answering all of our questions. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Okay. It's been great. It's been a pleasure.
Is there anything that you want to say before you go?
Be great to sort of join the Ant and other invert sort of communities, because we're all primarily we're interested in the same sort of things.
Yes, definitely.
As each other. There's a whole host of other channels. So there's mine. Obviously, please do come and subscribe to me if you haven't yet.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Also, people like Spider-Man 1978, which is Christine. In America, she's amazing. Eddie's Bug Babies, Mark the Spider Guy, and the four of us we do adventurous keepers as all creatures. And Christine and Mark often do live streams throughout the week as well, here and there, just random chats and stuff. Doing it, and there's a whole plethora of reptile and invert channels out there nowadays. You got Scott's Invert Servers in here. He's absolutely fantastic. He's sort of part of the group. If you like things like Sea Monkeys, there's Tea in the Deep Blue Sea, Victoria, who's currently fast asleep on my sofa. So, there's some fantastic videos on marine stuff. So we've got Roxy in chat there, Tarantula Town. So there's too many channels to sort of name them all, sort of thing. like reptile stuff. We've got reptile innovations, sort of viv builds and stuff. You know, but you come over to mine, you'll probably find those guys, you know, on them. And if you're interested in tarantulas, you know, Dave's Little Beasties, Tom Moran's, Tom's Big Spiders, like,
Yes.
you know, I learned from those two, sort of thing. We all tarantula people learn from those two. So, but a lot of us, we're here, you know, you've got questions. Most of us, we're happy to answer any question, and no question's a silly question.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I always say as well. We have got a last question here from Dave's Ants. Do you have a Discord?
I don't know. I downloaded Discord for something else, for a reptile thing. It confuses the hell out of me.
Yes.
I don't really use it.
Yeah.
So
I have moderators do mine for me because I have no idea.
I haven't gone on to it in ages because I learned I haven't got a clue what this is. What the hell's going on? So I have no idea. So that was on for just for reptiles. I got invited onto, and I'm just like I'm just lost. I'm like, what? I have no idea. So almost as mate, it's YouTube. So yeah, Incredible Inverts and Other Animals on YouTube, Instagram, and now TikTok as well.
Okay.
So I've been doing occasional bits on there.
Yeah.
So that's mainly just to try and bring people over to YouTube. YouTube's the main platform for for videos and stuff.
Yeah. I do exactly the same on Twitch. I'm broadcasting Twitch as well, just to try and bring that community to our YouTube community and link everyone up.
Yeah, exactly. So I started reading TikTok kind of this year properly. I downloaded it a while ago and was like, I don't know if this is for me, but it's been fun. Like, you know, just the odd 15-second clip of an animal, sort of thing, and then like I'm going to start doing some lives on there. I don't know when, but I'm going to start doing like occasional live streams on TikTok just to try and get more people over to YouTube and. You know, seeing everyone else's channels because there's a wealth of information out there on YouTube nowadays. And I mean, YouTube wasn't even a thing for me until lockdown, until the first lockdown.
Oh wow! Okay, wow.
Invert and reptile animal YouTube wasn't really a thing for me at all. This is all me starting a channel was because of lockdown.
Yeah.
So I didn't think mention that at all. Yeah, I was a zookeeper. That was suddenly you had no one to do about inverts and various other things. So then it was like started doing Facebook live streams on the zoo's Facebook page, and ended up rambling on about spiders for an hour on a Facebook live.
Yeah,
and it was like a few people were like, "You know what, Phil? Have you thought about doing that?" Like, not really. And then I was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's give it a go and see maybe." And see what happens, and sort of 2 years later, it was still going, and you know, getting closer to 1K.
Yeah, I did see you reach 650, didn't you? Is that right?
Well, I went over at one point today. I was at 666. So being a metalhead had to be like, right, let's let's share that with some Iron Maiden. I feel my. Oh, last time I looked was at 667. So I was like, oh, I've gone over that now. Sort of thing. I was like, so long to metal, but
no, congratulations on that. You're doing really well.
My aim, you know, I'd like to get to 1K for my birthday in May, which is doable.
Yeah.
So currently, at the moment, I'm releasing videos Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings at the moment.
I think you're definitely going to make it there because your channel is pretty amazing, to be honest. I enjoy all your videos, and everyone here has just said that they're going to be subscribing to you. Lots of people have already been watching your videos this week as well on the lead up to this. So it's all helpful to your channel.
That's it. And come over. Everyone's welcome. I don't have any ant content on there as of yet. when the Acromine mechs are fully established and going in at some point, I'll obviously film the Acromine mechs.
That'd be awesome.
They've only had them just over weeks, but they're still saying thing.
Yeah,
Stuff. On RS Design 90, Russell, he's another great channel. He's got some great videos on there as well and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of us that we've become family more than just friends.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
We're much the same
all the time.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I think a lot of this really is down to Happy Animal, like bringing over Ryan from Landscapes onto Scott's stream and at one point, and then it was all getting like, oh my god, there's a whole ant community going on as well.
Yeah.
We didn't know about this.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there's quite a lot of us, but like you say, we're like a little family, and we're all like, there's me, there's Ryan, there's Hood, there's JB, there's Holifer, and we all kind of communicate on this kind of like different level, and it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that is really, really cool. So
they're not going to let me get away without asking you about your fruity beard.
that is a thing.
Is it safe to talk about?
Yeah, but basically, the beard oil and beard shampoo I use is very, very fruity and stuff. So my beard often smells very, very fruity.
Right,
so everyone loves to, if they come and see me, to come and sniff my beard. So it's become one of those things, one of those in jokes.
Right. Okay. That's completely fair enough and understandable.
So that's what it is. So yeah, people like the sea show. Scott came just he had to get a selfie with me of him sort of sniffing my beard just to send to everyone to make them all jealous. in our various group chats and stuff. He has beard sniffing pictures.
Yeah, apparently Ryan's sad if he can't sniff your beard. Oh, okay. Well, there you go, everyone. That's the story.
Right, if you go into the Barnsley invert show, I should hopefully be there. I think that's not far from you, is it, Ryan? That's it. Everyone gets jealous of the fruity beard, and also the hair if the hair's out as well, because I've got long hair.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I did have someone on
slowly
Instagram literally
falling
be like, I need a video on hair tips and stuff. How do you do? What's your hair care like? And then I messaged them like, just cheap 2-on-1 shampoo conditioner.
yeah, just standard, just standard thing.
Like, not much to it. I pay more attention to the beard stuff than I do to my hair stuff.
Yeah, I know a lot of people which pay a lot of attention to their beards. It's important to get that right, isn't it?
That's it, So yeah, all of the beard shampoos and the beard oils and beard balms and stuff.
Yeah. Right. Well, I will let you go now if you want to, and we will crack on with our little chit chat. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to, but I know you are very busy.
Yeah, I don't know if AKC's still going on or not, because hopped off from our stream
No problem.
To this, but no, it's been a pleasure. Cheers for having me.
No, brilliant. Honestly, thank you. We can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been spectacular. You've answered all of our questions really well, and it's just been really enjoyable properly talking to you. So thank you.
AKC has finished. Because it normally finishes at 11, so yeah. Oh, someone's saying it's finished and someone's saying it's still on. That's weird.
Okay, well, there you go. Right, well, I'm going to let you go now, Phil. And we shall speak again soon, I suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. There we go. I am not going to tell you or show you what's behind the sheet, first of all. I know you've been asking. On one side, we got a fridge. On that side, you got my weights. That's all you need. You got like kids' posters and stuff behind the sheet. But anyways, That was absolutely amazing. Thank you very much to Phil from Incredible Inverts for coming on. Please do sub to his channel if you haven't already. All of those other channels that he mentioned as well, I'll try and get their links. If they want to contact me in any way, send me their links. I will post them in the comments for you, and I will pin it to the top so that you can see it. Yeah, that was great fun. I'm really, really happy with that. Did everyone else enjoy it? Did I get all your questions answered? Is there anything else that I could have done better for you in that stream? Any information that I could have got out? And whilst we're here, don't forget, obviously on Wednesday, we're going again, 8:30 p.m. UK time. We go into the multi-species tank for feeding. 9 o'clock UK time, we go on to a interview with Aesthetic Ants, which is going to be absolutely brilliant for episode 3 of season 2. Aesthetic Ants is well known in the ant keeping community. He's going to be brilliant to chat with. Again, we're going to have a whole host of questions for him. So if you've got any questions you want me to ask, you're more than welcome to save them for the night, or you can send them to me over Discord. If you haven't yet, make sure you join my Discord, because we're all getting together on there daily. We're chatting loads of ant stuff. We chat other stuff as well. It's a bit like these live streams. There's just loads of us there chatting all the time, and you can contact me or other people if you need help. It's just a great place to be. Speaking of great places to be, my website's coming out on Wednesday. Sign up to it. Check it out. It's completely free. It doesn't cost anything. It's just going to be loads and loads of information. Everything that I can possibly give to you will be on that website. So there'll be like the best places to buy ants in every country that I can possibly find. There'll be information on ant species, care guides, and this and that, and just everything I can find to help the community will be on this website. So sign up to it, and it'll be awesome. You can also get a newsletter by signing up to my newsletter system once a month. What's the website? It's not come out yet. It's not live. It is going live on Wednesday, but it will simply be Ants on the Rock. So just type in Ants on the Rock to Google. It will probably come up with everything, because I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube. Just I'm on everything now, but the website will be the one. So yeah, if you want to get onto this newsletter, I send out a newsletter on the first day of every month. It's just going to have some ant keeping news, a little blog about what I've been getting up to in the ant corner and what's going on with my ants, and it'll have like nuptial flight news as well, so you can keep up to date with all the ants that are flying in what areas, and hopefully you can catch some cool queens this year, and you won't miss the upcoming nuptial flights. What else have we got going on? We've got so much going on at the minute. It's absolutely crazy. But I see the call for duck races, so I am setting one up right now. So we have currently 15 people in the chat. I am counting 15. Call out your number, 1 to 15. First come, first serve. If your number's already taken by the time you shout it, you need to shout a second number. This is not for a prize. This is just for fun. Just to make that clear to everyone. I do enjoy doing this. It's very it's one of the funnest parts of what I do is these duck races, I think. All right. Are we ready? Has everyone got their number? I see 1, 6, 8. I'm not going to be able to keep track of that. I see most numbers are taken now. Remember your number. It's going to be fun. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Three people chose 7. Oh, yeah, okay. I think they've sorted it out, though. Right. Everyone, remember your numbers. I'm going to put the kettle on for a second, just so I can have a quick cup of coffee whilst I keep you all entertained. And there is the winner, number 6. Well done, number 6. And as my kettle is still boiling, we're going to go again. We currently got 14 people in the chat. We're going to leave 15 because I can't be asked to change it. Choose your numbers. We're going again in a second. Happy Ants UK is asking, what tea do I drink? I actually drink coffee, but I drink tea as well. I just drink whatever I've got in the cupboard, to be honest. I'm not fancy. I do like what do they call them, mochas, chocolate and coffee, and just chuck everything in there. You know, that's sound with me. Tea, coffee, hot chocolate, bit of honey. What tea bags do I tend to drink? I suppose PG, but to be honest, probably just the cheap ones from the shop, whatever's going cheapest. Right, let's start this race. 3, 2, 1. Here you go. And well done, number 1. You won absolutely nothing. Congratulations. Yeah, you got the joy of winning, the pride of saying that was me. We'll go again in a minute, but I'm just gonna. Do you want to see my beautiful face, or do you want to see the ants in the tank? I think we should go back to the ants, don't you? Right, bringing up the camera. Here we go. Ants, ants, ants. There we go. Right. Maybe this slightly as well. There we go. So yeah, thank you all for joining me tonight. It was absolutely brilliant having that stream, and lots of new people coming into the chat. We've had D Professor's Critters. If I say any of the names wrong, I'm very sorry. But welcome to D Professor's Critters. We've got Tarantula Town, Scott's Inverts. You're all new supporters of the channel, so welcome very much. Thank you for joining, and I hope you've enjoyed it. It will go on until about midnight, I just sit here, carry on chatting, and until everyone gets bored of me chatting, basically. Did everyone see my Mesa Barbarous video, which came out, what was it, yesterday? God, days just go, don't they? I put them in a bioactive setup now because they weren't happy. The Queen was out of the test tube in their tubs and tubes setup. And to me, if you see the Queen of the Mesa Barbarous wandering in the outworld, that is a very bad sign. Since putting them into this new bioactive setup, though, they seem to be doing much better. I haven't seen the Queen come back out, which is always a good sign. And I've got rid of all their seeds and everything that they had stored. Absolutely everything that had been there, basically, I just got rid of. The only thing that came across was a brand new test tube that I sorted out that morning. Yeah, just to be safe. And by the looks of it, I think they're going to be fine from now. They're gathering up new seeds, doing the things that they should be doing. Oh, Nathan, your majors are still dragging the workers around. That's been quite a while now, from what I remember. Good 3-4 days, maybe even a week. That's not particularly good. Message me later, buddy, and I will see if I can come up with an idea. Cool, made my coffee way too hot. I can't even drink that. So what else have we got going on at the moment? Wow, the ant tank's quite busy. Quite a few of the Polyrhacus dives are eating those roaches. I chucked in 4 medium-sized roaches today because they weren't even quite medium-sized, they're like slightly below medium-sized. But as you can see, there's 4 towers in there of carbohydrates at the minute, and that's only some of them. There's actually 6 towers. They're just going absolutely nuts for this. What is it? The strawberries and cream one that Antics sent to me. Absolutely amazing. I watered it down to 1 to 5 parts, so 1 part syrup, 5 parts water, and it's like they smashed in 3 towers today. They smashed in like 5 towers yesterday. It's just absolutely ridiculous. They're just going through it, which isn't a bad thing, but it makes me wonder if I have watered it down slightly too much, that they're having to take extra to get the same amount of sugar. So maybe I'll do it to 1 to 3 parts next and see if it's slightly slower. The problem with that being is if it's too thick, it will struggle to go through the ant towers. So it's going to be a bit of an experiment to see how it goes. And Antics did give me some great advice on how to mix it. So thank you very much to him. Yeah, his sugar snaps are really awesome. Definitely one of the best on the market. But from what he was saying when we interviewed him, his are the general product that you get on the market, and most others that you find at the moment come back to him. Mesa Barbarous Jazz do need heat. They don't necessarily, they're fine at room temperature, but if you give them that heat, it speeds them up. That beetle's fallen over. That's not a good place to. There's literally 4 beetles on screen right now. I told you, once the red lights go on and the normal lights go off, the whole tank changes. But back to it. Mesa Barbarous, they don't need heat. They can survive fine at room temperature. But I prefer to give them heat. And if you've given them heat, you will notice them moving over towards it with their larvae. It just simply speeds up the process a little bit. I mean, I like to heat pretty much all of my colonies just to give them that gradient. Because if they do want it, they can use it. If they don't want it, they won't use it. And if they only half want it, they'll only half use it. Bit like the Grand Old Duke of York, but we won't go into that because that's a very touchy subject right now. But yeah, I like I say, I wouldn't be against heating them, especially Mesa Barbarous. I mean, they come from like places like Africa and Spain. I believe they're even found in Greece. So, you know, slightly warm. Ants England, you say they're in diapause, but some of my colonies, right, have already started waking up completely out of diapause. one of my laziest Niger colonies, which should be in diapause, definitely isn't. And it's not the one that like they've come out. I've had several colonies which didn't go in at all, but I had several which did, and now they're already back to their completely normal state. So I think, to be honest, I think my house is warm at this point in the year because we've got the heating on. Yeah, I keep my mess of Barbers at about 26 degrees. I say it's warm in here. I've literally just had to take my top off because I'm sweating. What's the temperature in this room? Okay, it's only 27 degrees in here, but I'm still sweating. It doesn't take much for me to get hot. Tarantula Town. Diapause is like hibernation for ants. So they slow down. They all kind of bunch up together. They don't come out to forage. They stop eating properly. Those sorts of things, you know, normal hibernation kind of things. But some of my species have already started coming out and foraging again, which shows signs that they're coming out of the diapause. The queen also won't really lay eggs. And eggs and larvae that they have got will either be eaten or just slow right down to not grow. It's basically the whole of winter, but only really native to Europe ants do it, and obviously some parts of America. If you get the exotic species like my Polybacus dives here, they do not hibernate. They will be like this all year round. Diapause and hibernation is pretty much the same thing. People say hibernation when it comes to ants, but when you're talking about ants, they don't actually hibernate as such. They just go into a state of diapause. Hibernation's like a bit deeper, if you know what I mean. Now that beetle tried to have some of the roach. He got a good bite and then he had to leave. I'm thinking now we're on 9 people, hang on. Yeah, exactly like that tarantula town. Exactly like when tarantulas become dormant over winter. Right, we have 10 viewers currently. So we're gonna clear the ducks down to 10 ducks. And if anyone wants to put in a prize, you're more than welcome to put a prize in. Professor's critters, brumation. I do not actually know that word, to be completely honest with you. I have no problem with saying I don't know that. Yeah, I don't. Right, so we currently have 11 viewers, but I think, yeah, I can still change it. So, right, so we've got 10 ducks currently. Apparently we've got 8 viewers now. So, winner gets to see Tom topless. No, that's not going to happen, I'm afraid. My wife would kill me. And it's not really that type of video, is it? Let's be honest. The winner will get a £5 voucher from me at the end of the month, when I can afford it. Right, are we ready? Everyone got their number? There you go. Antscapes will send you some springtails and moss with a few plants. These types of, yeah, Antscapes, that's perfect. Yeah, if you want to do stuff like that, then yeah. Right, so we'll do 2 races. We'll do this race. Everyone's got their number. Remember your number. I will go through and find the winner in a second. We'll do this race for Antscapes. We'll do another one in a second for a £5 voucher at the end of the month for the ant shop of your choosing. Right, so everyone's got their number. We are ready. We are steady. Off we go. Oh, hang on. My duck is not even showing, is it? There we go. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, that's my fault. Sorry. I was just thinking, Antscapes. I kind of wish I was going to win this now because I really wanted those isopods. Oh, yeah, you said springtails. I want the isopods. Sorry, everyone. That was my fault. Right, who have we got? We have Policeman Duck coming up as number 8. Oh, Star Duck, number 3, coming up on the inside. Snow Duck falling behind, and Unicorn Duck, number 7, pushing up through the middle. Come on, Unicorn Duck. And number 3 got it. And the winner, number 3. I can't see no one chose number 3. Did no one choose number 3? Well, that sucks. We're going to have to go again. Right, there's currently 11 people in the chat. There's 10 ducks, so someone's not in it. Right, we're going again. We got 11 ducks this time. We're going again. Call out your number, super quick. And if everyone has their number, are we ready to go? Nathan at 8, Ants England at 1, Auntie Matt is at 6, Professor Critters at 7, Antscapes at 2, Jazz at 4. I'm sure there's more people here which haven't yet chosen. You will have until the end of the race. Here we go. 3, 2. Oh, look at that duck there. I like that duck. And there's a clown duck. Oh, cool. Right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Right. I'm obviously unbiased. I don't care who wins, but I kind of want that clown duck or the red, yellow, and blue duck to go. They're just pretty cool. Space duck number 4 coming up pretty fast, but he's not holding it. If he uses all his sprint power now, he's going to lose it. He's going to be tired. There you go. He's dropping back. The fatigue is setting in. Green duck's coming out on the second. Come on, green duck, pushing up, pushing up. Tarantula Town, call out a number quickly. We've got 4, 2, 7, 6, 1, and 8. So do you want to be 5, Tarantula Town? Oh, there comes number 7. Go on, number 7. And number 7. Number 7 takes it. So D, Professor's Critters, if you want to get in contact with Antscapes, Ryan, then he will send you your prize. Well done. That was brilliant. All right, let's go back to the ants. So just a few more minutes. And then we'll have another race soon for the £5 gift card that I will give away. But as I stated, you will have to wait until I have some money in my account. Basically, I get a budget for the Ants on the Rock channel once a month. And if it's not in the budget, I can't do it. There you go. What else has been going on? Oh yeah, don't forget, if you have missed any of the live feeds in the past, any of these episodes, they are all available on Spotify for you to download and listen to offline if that's what suits you. Or you can find this on Twitch and YouTube. Ants England, thank you very much for joining us. We will let you have a brilliant night to yourself now, and we shall see you Wednesday. Ryan, did you want to come on at all? Or did you want to just carry on chatting? And whilst we're here, I may as well keep advertising a little bit. So don't forget, like I say, we got Aesthetic Ants coming on Wednesday stream. And then, if my memory serves me correctly, no, it doesn't. Because my brain just went completely blank as I was saying that. That's really good, isn't it? Right, so let's have a little look at the thing. That's it. We got Aesthetic Ants coming on the 9th, which is Wednesday. And then on the 13th, which is Sunday, 1 week from now, we have Ants Arthropods. Now, he's an American YouTuber. He has some absolutely insane ant colonies, huge leafcutter colonies, does some really cool stuff. So if you haven't checked his channel out yet, check it out now. Watch a few of his videos so that you can gather some questions for him when he's on the stream. And that one's going to be really great fun, to be honest. Like, I always enjoy chatting to the Americans. It's a different time zone for them as well. So it's like still daytime for them. They still got all the energy. And then on the 16th, you want to write this in your diaries. On the 16th, we are going to do an open mic night. And we love our open mic nights, don't we? Thank you very much, Incredible Inverts, for coming on. Good night, buddy. It was really spectacular. I really had fun, and I hope you did too. Ryan, I will send you the link in 2 seconds. I'm just opening it now via Discord. What was I saying? So yeah, on the 16th, we're going to have an open mic night. If you want to join in, basically, I will keep posting the link in the chat throughout the night, and you can just jump on in. And there'll be like 5 or 6 of us, or even more, and just chatting anything. Could be ant related, could be anything related. As long as it's not political, religious, or offensive, then it's welcome on the stream. And obviously, that's just a great opportunity to do any advertising you want to do. If you've got anything cool coming up, if you need any help, just anything really. It's just a great opportunity to chat to the whole ant keeping community that signs on to these streams. That although it doesn't seem like a lot sometimes, like 15 people in the chat, we do actually get over 100 views on every stream. So it is quite good. In fact, we had one not long ago, which is now reaching something like 160 views on YouTube. And I know it's still quite small, but in the grand scheme of things, these are quite large view numbers for me still. I'm still very impressed that I get this sort of, what's the word, attainment? I think that's the word. Whatever. I'm super happy that everyone signs on to these, and it's a great community that we're building, isn't it? Super awesome, super welcoming. And talking about welcoming, let's welcome on Ryan from Antscapes. Hello, buddy. You all right?
Hey, how you doing, mate? Good to be here. How you all doing as well in the chat? Probably not. So I'll actually read the comments. There we go. Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
Can you hear the ducks, or is that just me?
I can hear the ducks, yeah.
You can hear the duck, right? Hang on.
Yeah.
There we
go. I don't mind.
Problem solved. Hang on, it's not. It's still going. No.
Right, the ducks want to race. Stopped. That's all it is. The ducks are ready.
Yeah, they're ready and ready
all the lives.
Oh, it's great.
They're already in the gate, ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Thank you. kind of getting a little bit of a better routine with like YouTube and the baby and things, because took a bit of time off, and I think like getting used to it took a little bit of time, but yeah, seem to be getting there, and like things are still good. I've just kind of run out of funds for now, so I'm trying to save obviously for new projects and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I know that, man. I know that. Like I said, if anyone wins that voucher, it will have to come out at the end of the month.
Yeah, dude, that's it. And I think it's frustrating because I've had the tanks. I bought them off Facebook Marketplace super cheap. I think I said before, like I haven't had the chance to even stock them at all. Like, but I've had them for easy like 8 to 10 months and just sat there. Like when I get enough money, I'll make this one. But to be fair, that one was a little bit longer because I'm building like an arid setup. Which is like, dude, the amount of research I'm doing on that is crazy. Like it's taken a lot of time up. Yeah, it's been real tough to be honest, but I'm getting there.
Well, it is a massive change having a baby. Like huge change to everything.
Oh no, definitely. It's like I'm actually quite lucky that now I've been able to stay on so long since I jumped in at about 9:30 and even chatting now because I fed her. There was a time I fed her. I know she normally goes down till 2 if I'm like fairly lucky. But I think she might have one of those nights, so I've been quite lucky there. So now I've been like chatting away. I can now get some bits from the garage. I'm just in the garage now grabbing materials and stuff, so I can do a few things in the animal room. So it's like one of them rare nights I can actually catch up on everything. So it's one of those you have to just fit it in wherever you can. I've noticed that, especially with the footage. Like I don't take enough footage because I'm normally rushing in the animal room to get things done, to keep up on maintenance as opposed to like thinking about the content. And I think that's where like it downfalls for me because I'm so worried about keeping them the best I can. So now that I've got a routine on everything I've already got, I know I can then expand. I don't like to be rushed off my feet and then be like, I'm making something else. Kind of trying to balance it all now. And if it gets too much, then that's all. When I'll be like, well, that's my level for now. Until I've become quicker as well. So
yeah. How are you finding changing nappies? Have you got the hang of that yet?
Oh yeah, honestly, mate. Like I've been changing nappies since the beginning. It was really weird because I was inside. It was just the Weatherspoons in the UK, but in Whitby, and I was feeding Willow, and then I literally had about 3 old couples come up to me and be like, "Oh, it's great to see like a man's feeding a baby," and then some old woman pulled Josie aside when she went for a week to tell her that her husband never helped feed the baby, and I was like, "Is this not just a normal thing? Like, why are they all so amazed?"
I think in our time it is more normalised, but back then, like the guy went off to work, had the babies, like things were different back then. It's like even when the guy would come home from work, the mother would try and keep the children sort of out of the way. So you know what I mean? That was sort of the done thing back then. Very different. And Ryan's just disappeared on me, so I shall continue chatting about that subject. It is very different these days. I think it's much better. Like I couldn't go without my kids. I love them to bits, and I do lots of stuff with them. Oh, and he's back.
Hello. I don't know if I'm back and you can hear me.
Yeah, you're back.
But no, I was just going to say I agree.
Like, I would go nuts if I didn't have my kids with me. Such a different to how it used to be.
No, 100%. I think it is an older generation thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you are right. Like I used to get that, and I still do sometimes because I've got 3 girls, and obviously the youngest is in her chair and whatnot. And quite often I have people like, a dad with all, dad taking all the kids out. Yeah, of course. Like,
yeah, I don't get that. Like to me, I have the fact that I'm at work because I feel like I miss out on time. So
yes.
I hate that I work so much because I do a lot of hours and
when my kids were first born, we had my eldest, and then my second one came along, and I was working 80 hours a week, And I gave it up basically because I think it was like I missed her first steps or something. That I got a text when I was at work, just like, oh, she started walking, and I just got so annoyed that I wasn't there for that. I was like, right, well, I've had enough of this, and I quit my job.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I thought I was talking there, but I was on mute. But no, I completely agree. And to me, like family is like always number one. And that's why I said to Joe, I said, to be honest, like it's one of them things for me at the moment. Keep doing what I'm doing. I said, but the hours I do, I couldn't like have a nice work-life balance between it. So I'll have to think of what I do maybe is in a couple of years, or even the next year or something. And then that'll be a change. So you know.
Yeah. I
Just have to hope I suddenly hit some sort of mad algorithm on YouTube, get some subscribers or something. I don't know. We can all pray and hope.
It's a hard one because if you do like I did and quit your job, then when they go to school, you'll be struggling. You know what I mean? It's better to try and stay in a long-term career. It's a hard one, isn't it? What's best? Kind of see your.
Oh no, definitely. Like I think for now, it's more important for us to stay and keep doing what we're doing because it's working.
Yeah.
But when Jo goes to work as well, I'm pretty sure she'll probably be feeling like I am and want to quit. But she also wants to become, because she's a nurse, so she wants to become a nurse practitioner.
Wow.
So then she's like, I have to do 2 years of masters. So she's applied for a job like on maternity leave, where she's doing like a 10-week course at uni for extra stuff. So she's literally want to be a practitioner. So I'm like. And then she's like, oh, and I don't want to go back to work. I want to extend my maternity. I'm like, well, you can't really. So she's trying to get the balance now. And I was like, well, I think while you're young and you can do it, like, do it because then you'll be set, really. You'll be like 30, 31 and you'll be a practitioner and, it'll be more beneficial. I think like that's different. But even then, you'll still have loads of responsibility. I think it's always tough, isn't it? Any job you have. And if you want more money, you'll need overtime. And that is what it is, I think. Unfortunately, it's way too much. We just need more hours, more days.
Yeah, well, as long as you're happy, then it don't matter, does it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what's most important, mate. Yeah, definitely.
That's it. As long as you've got a roof over your head, food in your cupboards.
Yeah, 100%.
It don't matter if you got I've always said I could have carried on in my job and I could be earning hundreds of pounds, like hundreds of grand a year. But what's the point in that if you're not enjoying life, if you're not able to enjoy your family and
Yeah, 100%. Because even if someone offered me that money, there's no way I'd move away from my family. I just wouldn't do that. I don't think it's fair on them. But anyway, I completely agree. I'm a very much family oriented person, so couldn't agree more, mate.
It's a good way to be.
So
go on.
Sorry. No, go on, mate. You go on. You go first.
I was just going to say, you were saying about you've got tanks and stuff that you haven't got around to doing. I saw a tank the other day and I was literally minutes away from buying it, but I was just too slow. It was like one of really, really large Exoterra things and they only wanted 15 quid for it. I was like, oh my God.
Really?
It blew my mind. So I jumped on it, but it was literally just gone.
Dude. Similar thing happened to me. The one I was looking at was like 50 quid, but it came with the stand as well, the cabinet, and it was 90. It wasn't huge, but it was like a 90 centimeter wide by 90 centimeter tall. So it was like
that's decent,
yeah. So it was a good size, But anyway, I missed out on that. Completely missed out on that.
If we just had the ability to snap our fingers and be like, I need a new tank, boom, that would be me.
Yeah, I might just click it into place, like exactly where you want it in the room. Just bling. And then the materials as well.
I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4 lately, and then been doing that build mode and whatnot. It's just like that. Just walk up, click the button. Yeah.
Or like The Sims.
Yeah. Well, The Sims is a bit rubbish. No, The Sims is all right.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah.
I can't be asked to live another life. My life is hard enough.
Yeah, that's what I've never understood about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you gotta go out to work and then like you look and you're like you got no money, your character's working all the time and he's not happy. What's the point?
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. I like if there's anything like that, I like the roller coaster like theme park ones.
Yes.
What was it called? You know, I think it was called theme park, literally. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
built your own
theme
theme
park
park. They're
tycoon and
probably good.
things like that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
knows you
the
always like
tycoon
built a
series
massive.
were absolutely brilliant. They did loads, didn't they? They did
Really
like
were great, mate. Yeah,
hotel and
proper good.
zoo and everything.
Yeah, really good.
I don't play enough
Anything
games
new
to
for yourself though? Have you got any new animals you're going to keep? Any new setups? What are your future plans?
Oh,
Obviously, I saw your video on the Mr. Barbarous,
yeah. So they're in
the
a new
natural setup.
setup.
So
Yeah, my Mima Karuba have moved as well into sort of the same kind of setup. Basically, I got sent the Ants Canada Tower, the large one, and that Outworld thing by one of my
yeah.
supporters who was trying to get rid of it. So it
That's
was
cool.
really cool,
That's
really
real
handy.
cool.
I thought, fuck it, I'll go
No, that's
bioactive
sweet.
on it, you know.
Yeah, me as well.
Yeah, and I think they look quite good. The Mima Karuba definitely needed the bioactive setup. They just weren't like they had the massive die off from like 15 ants to 3. So the minute I changed it, you can see the behaviors better and they're thriving again.
Yeah.
And the Mesa, I think they're doing better as well. But yeah, I've got loads of new things that are coming to the channel. You've probably seen one or two of my posts about. I don't know actually. You're in a couple of the groups that I've posted in for information because as always I do research. But I can say I'm looking at some jumping spiders.
Super cute.
Yeah, oh mate, they're so cool, aren't they? So cool.
Yeah,
and they're a good
so
place to
cool.
start. You know, they're a good place to start with spiders.
I found one once in the house and lost it basically in the same day. I was devastated. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, mate, go on. You were saying.
Don't say that to my wife because I was going to say this is my way to start keeping spiders. Be like, oh, look, it's so safe in this tiny little.
Your secret. My secret's safe with myself.
Yeah,
sorry,
I won't let it out. It'll be fine. And then,
to be fair, I mean, if you do it right, it's fine.
Yeah, that's it. I've watched plenty of videos. I think I've got quite a good enclosure in mind. Like I've gone scouting about, you know, quite a large one for what I see other people keeping them in. But I'd much rather have more space than it needs.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
you've probably seen Surfer Designs.
Yeah.
It's just like a decent size for it.
Yeah, exactly. So we got that. I got a few other things that I'm looking at. One thing that I am planning is a big bioactive build, but I cannot say because it's like a complete secret. I haven't even told like my second in command, who I tell pretty much everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a complete secret because it might all go completely wrong and everything die.
Okay. So it's a big bioactive build, but it all could die.
It's a big bioactive build that's never been done before, as far as I can see, anywhere on the internet, in any group, any social media, anywhere. It's never even been attempted because everyone thinks I'm crazy.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds cool.
Sounds good. But that's what I was told with this tank. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's something it's quite new to me. I've done a little bit of it, but it's quite new. And to be honest, it's a massive like challenge to myself to learn enough to pull it off, if you know what I mean. It's doable.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more than doable. Like the vision is there. It's just the science behind it isn't.
Right, okay.
Yeah. We'll make that work. But yeah, I've got loads of stuff I'm planning. Like I've got a notebook in front of me, right? It's got 300 pages and I'm more than halfway through, and it's just filled with notes and like plans to do videos and bullet points and this and that. And I've got a lot planned.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
I tend to like do something start of the week and then make something for it at the time. Like
Yeah.
You know, like that shrimp one, it was kind of winged last minute. So I didn't even do like a voiceover, but I wanted to release something. So for me, it was like I am kind of rushing it at the moment. But like I say, I'm getting a better routine for it. At least I can like upload and keep them up to date. So yeah.
See, if I'm completely honest, I've fallen behind on everything at the minute, strictly because I'm doing everything else. I've taken a lot of time, like, away from my editing and things like that, so I can work on the website and get that all ready to go by Wednesday. Because I've done that whole thing completely on my own. Like, a couple of people have had a little bit of an input, but it's literally just been me sat there typing away every night. Which is fine. But like I say, it's taken away from my editing time, and like I say, some of them are a bit more rushed. I'm a little bit late. I'm releasing a couple of my videos lately, but it's all for the good of the ant-keeping community, I hope.
Yeah, no, to be honest, mate, it sounds great. It's a really good idea. So I do hope it goes well, and I think it will. I think it'll be a good place for people to go. And obviously, hopefully, I'm assuming you'll open forums on there too, so people can ask questions and then get involved and things. So, yeah, man, it really does. It sounds brilliant. It is a really good idea.
Thanks
So,
for that support.
yeah.
See, I like what we have going on with Discord. Yeah, because our Discord servers are amazing, and we have great community. Like you say, people asking questions and whatnot. But Discord isn't accessible to like 90% of people.
Yeah, true.
So I was thinking, website, it just hits like everyone can access a website.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, it sounds good.
It should be. It should. I've got high hopes for it. Like, obviously, I'll keep pushing it and do what I can to make it successful. But I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a shop. There is going to be some cool features which might cost a little bit of money. I tell you now, there is going to be one thing that you'll look at and be like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I'll be like, ha, because you didn't. No. I've got some ideas that you'll be like, actually, that's quite cool, stuff worth looking at. So, yeah. There we go. And he's back. And you're back.
Sorry, man. You said
that's right.
I tell you now, and then it went off, and I was like, no. It was like the exciting part as well. Sorry.
I was just saying, there is parts on there which is like really cool ideas, and you'll probably be like, oh, why didn't I think of that? But it's one of the things. It's like I can't explain it without explaining it, and I can't explain it until it's released. You know what I mean?
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
It's taken a bit of work, but basically there'll be a thing which will cost money, but it'd be well worth it, and it'd be pretty much all that I am selling on the whole website, but it'd be well worth it, and it's basically just to help people out. That's the best way. Yeah. That's all I'm going to release for now. But
fair enough.
Even I think like experienced ant keepers like yourself will look at it and be like, actually, that's quite a good idea. You know what I mean?
It sounds good.
But like anything, it has got a cost implement to it because I can't provide the things without paying myself, So it's
yeah. No, of course. Well, you probably know. Obviously, I'm in the process of making my website, but it took me a lot longer. I mean, I've been making it since about October.
Okay.
I'm just very slow. Yeah, honestly, mate, it's been taking me ages. But I'm quite a bit further through now, and the main part now is just the descriptions, returns policies, etc., which is like the longest part. And then just making the website look right, really, just tweaking it to make sure it looks right on the phone and on a computer as well. So yeah, I'm almost done. I reckon hopefully end of this month, mid-month, but I'm not sort of holding to that because it's taken a while anyway. But it will be out, it will be out soon, and quite exciting. The thing is with it as well is it'll only get bigger. I'll start selling more things, and at first it'll be very basic. But I think just to kind of get a footprint there at first, and then see what types of things I'll be selling. But yeah, anyway, I think it'll be good, and obviously merch as well, like hoodies and stuff.
Yeah. Another feature on my website is there's a like live stream page, so it will show all my latest videos on YouTube when it's not live, but whenever I'm live, you can watch it via the website as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, proper cool. Really, really
Gets it
cool.
out again.
Trying to go back inside, carrying loads of bags of stuff.
No, that's right. Right. So it is midnight now, and I always say we'll stay on to about midnight, but then I do need to sleep because I get up at 5:30. So I'm going to put on a 5-minute duck race, and at the end of the 5-minute duck race, I will be calling it a night. We currently have 6 people in the chat, so 6 people, call out your numbers. This is for the £5 voucher at the end of the month from me. Professor Critters, thank you so much for signing on and staying. You've been really, really amazing, to be honest. You've been helpful and, engaging. So you're more than welcome to come back anytime. Please do send me a message, join Discord. I don't know, let's meet, let's talk. You're more than welcome to come on in the future as well. It would be amazing to speak to you properly. I'm sure you've got lots of cool stuff we can talk about. But yeah, send me a message, get in contact. Thank you very much for the sub as well. But have a good evening. I hope we didn't keep you up too late. So, last duck race of the night. Jazz is number 3, Tarantula Town number 4. Thank you again, Tarantula Town as well. Another new viewer.
I'll go number 2.
Absolutely amazing. Sorry, say that again, Antscapes.
Sorry, I was going to say I'll go number 2.
Right, so we got Jazz at 3, Tarantula Town at 4, Antscapes at 2. Anybody else want to put their number in?
Professors also gave you the spin or the prize from me, so you'll have to send me your address because he's from the USA.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah.
Right. Okay, so I think it's only you 3
See you later,
participating. Right, so I'm going to change it down to 3 ducks. So I'm going to, right, we'll say Jazz at 1, Tarantula Town 2, Antscapes at 3, and let's put it on the ducks. Oh, right, so Jazz, you're the purple duck. Tarantula Town, you are Bumblebee Duck, and Ryan, you are Green Duck. Did you catch that, Ryan?
Sorry, I'm back in now, but
that's
I'm
right.
The Bumblebee Duck, I think, number 2.
No, right, you are the Green Duck.
Ah, okay.
Okay, because we've gone down to 3 ducks now. So Jazz is Purple Duck, Tarantula Town is Bumblebee Duck, and
I'm Green Duck. Right, okay, cool.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Are we ready? Steady, off we go. But this is a 5-minute duck race as well. So when the duck race is over, I am going to say goodnight to everyone on the stream.
No problems, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, then I'll dip out and carry on watching on YouTube. And have a good night, mate. And much love. Thank you very much for letting me drop them.
No, honestly, mate, you're always welcome to come on these streams. I love having you on, and the community brings you as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. Hey, much love, mate. Have a good night.
Yeah.
And good night, chat, as well. Much love, everyone. But I'll drop in chat now, mate. Much love. Thank you.
All right, see you later, buddy. Well, that was absolutely brilliant of Ryan to stop by. As always, I say he's always welcome to come on after the interview section, as most of you are. Anti-matters, we only have 3 ducks playing, I'm afraid. We're a little bit slow. Next time, sorry, buddy. I hate saying that. I am sorry, though, but there's only 3 ducks and they are all counted for. But yeah, you are pretty much all welcome to come on the streams at this time. As soon as the interview finishes, we just do a random chat show kind of thing. So you're more than welcome to jump on, have a chat, say hello, whatever. I don't care. As long as I know, Antscapes, it's typical, isn't it? As long as it's not political, not religious, not offensive, you're welcome to talk about it on my streams. It's all good fun. And if I feel like you're getting off topic or offensive in any way, then I will soon stop you. But yeah, you'd be welcome on. I love my community, love chatting to you all, and it's all great fun. Make sure you're signing up to my Discord if you haven't already. Send me a comment, get in contact. I know, I love chatting to you all and meeting new people. And if you do want to get on the stream for an interview, send me a message because I would love to have some more people signed up. I'm currently taking bookings for March. So Tarantula Town, if you're interested in coming on in March, then get in contact. We go live every Wednesday and Sunday at 8:30 UK time, and the interviews start at 9 p.m. UK time every Wednesday and Sunday. I also have a review video which comes out every Monday where I review other people's videos and bioactive builds. So that's great fun to see how I react. And then on the Saturday, as always, I will be bringing out my full episode on my ants, whatever I decide to do this week. I haven't actually decided. I've got 3 videos in the making right now, none of them fully edited, none of them are actually ready. So we'll see which one I want to send out to you. You might get all 3 if you're really lucky. And as I said earlier, we have the website coming out on Wednesday. So if you can, check out the website, sign up to it. That would be absolutely awesome. It gives you access over all of the website and all the different pages in the members area. Then you can also sign up to the newsletter for free as well. And I will just send you an email once a month, giving you all the little updates that I've been able to gather from the ant keeping world, including nuptial flights and a little blog about what's been going on in the ant corner as well. It's just a little bit of fun to read. We all like ant content. There's not enough ant content out there. So, you know, sit there on the toilet and read it. Only takes 10 minutes. Bit of fun. But it's there if you want to sign up for it. And one last thing, which I have nearly forgotten about, which is super cool and important, the Ant Keeping Awards will be announced on Wednesday with the website release. I will be announcing the winners of the surveys I sent out, where I will be naming the top chosen, top voted ant shops in several different countries. We'll say the UK, the Netherlands. We've got quite a few different countries participating. So I will be announcing the winners, the 1, 2, 3 top best ant shops in those countries, and I will be sending out little certificates as well to say that they got voted the top ant shop in their country, which to me is quite a big thing. Number 1. So Jazz, you have won. I will be in contact with you, obviously. You know me quite well, Jazz. So I will sort you out that £5 voucher towards the end of the month when I have some money back in the Ants on the Rock Fund. At the minute, everything's just going straight into the website and things like that because there's a lot of different processes going on. Yeah, so that's it. That is the end of the stream. I think I said everything. We said Ant Keeping Awards, which is super, super cool. I can't wait to send out the certificates and tell people that they were voted the top ant shop in the country. I think it's going to blow their minds. They should be super excited, and hopefully it will be a recognized sort of thing that they can say they were voted top best ant shop in the year of 2001 for their country. Thank you all for joining so much. It's been absolutely amazing, but it is 10 past midnight now and I must go to bed, otherwise I'll be in trouble with the wife. I've got to be up at 5:30 in the morning, so I got, you got to get some sleep. But seriously, on a serious note, it's been spectacular. I love doing these streams for you, but I need to shut up now and go away. Good night, everyone. Thank you for signing in once again, and I shall see you again soon. But as always from me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans.